Welcome. Something Nice with Dinano. I am your host, Dinano Damano. We promised that we will be back with brother Ron Dalton Jr. And we have kept our promise to you. Welcome, brother Ron.
Welcome.
Shabbat Shalom to you and your family. Thank you for joining us today. Let's go with the formalities, family. A happy Sabbath to you. Shabbat Shalom from wherever you are watching from. Let's do roll call. Tell us where you are and what time it is. I am in Ningizimu, and the time here is 5:14. Thank you for joining us. Because we have a global audience, we just want to do a roll call to find out where our people are today. And we will get going with Brother Ron's message and presentation for today. Just that you have a heads up, our scripture reading is in Ezekiel 28:7. Correct, Brother Ron?
Yes, 38:7.
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 7. The last world war will be in Africa, not Israel, or rather, true Israel. Let's acknowledge everyone that has joined us and just read your messages with your time and where you're from. Let's start with this one. Mishak Mbangule from Zanzibar, Tanzania, 1814. Welcome, brother. Telma Umukulu. Telma is a regular here. Thank you, Telma, for being here. South Africa, it's 1714. I can confirm that. Menusuchi Punyise. Forgive me if I didn't read it correctly, brother. I'm in Zimbabwe, time 5:14. Welcome, brother. Rose Cams, California, 7:15 a.m. Good morning to you, Rose. Ashanti Black, 79. Welcome, New Jersey, USA, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I guess it is now 10:16, correct? There's another person, King in My Own Way, Life Lesson, 4469 in Louisiana. He's not giving the time. Katie is in Texas. She's also not giving the time. Putting on the armor. We have Ali Abdul all the way from the beautiful islands of Jamaica. It's 10:15 a.m. Good morning. I am in Oakland, California. The time is 7:14 a.m. Shabbat Shalom. Aya's daughter. Shabbat Shalom family. Shout out from beautiful Chicago. Shabbat Shalom, Dallas, Texas. There's no time in Texas. The ordinal, I see you are looking forward to this one. We're here. You're here. Thank you for joining us from Mexico. Yucatan, Mexico. What's the time there, brother? Pinky from Austin, or Pinky, Austin. Pinky, Austin, 9183. Houston, Texas, 9:15 a.m. Good morning. Sanibona. Maryland, USA, 10:15. D. Bryce, another regular and a channel member. Welcome, Shabbat Shalom. Tennessee, 9:14 a.m. I'm in Ningizimu, Kwanele. Is it Kwanele? Kwanele. Terry Walker, 6187. I'm in Ningizimu, a homeboy in Johannesburg. You must pay me a visit, Kwanele. I'm just around the corner. Randallstown, Maryland, USA, 10:15 a.m. Austin, Texas, Malcolm, 9:15 a.m. Frank J. from France, 1614. Welcome, good afternoon. Bell, 6920 Ghana, 3:15. Welcome. In South Africa, time is 17:15. Nomhle Mbasa, 4249. Atlanta, Georgia. Chris Mathis. I'm seeing you for the second time, Chris, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome, 10:15 a.m. in Atlanta. 9:15 in Chicago time. Aya's daughter. Okay, thank you for that. What's this one now? I asked for time and people are already commenting. I guess they can't wait to hear the presentation. Sarah in California, 7:15 a.m. Dumelang, Dumela. Davis Rick. In Ningizimu, Johannesburg. Okay, I've already read that one. There are so many of you, family. We see you. Flores Nkolise, another loyal supporter of the channel 1716 in SA. We appreciate you, Florence. We see your contributions on a monthly basis. Shalom, family. Happy Sabbath day. Abaya. Kimberly Moore, we've seen you for a while. Thank you for your contributions. Good morning, Morgan Hill, California. 7:15 a.m. People are up early, Ron, to hear the message. Toby Obi, Tampa, Florida, 10:16 a.m. Lagos, Nigeria. That's Hit Zayo, 16:17. Greg Collier from Kenya, 6:16 p.m. Jambo, Mpo, South Africa, 17:16. Patricia James, Trinidad and Tobago. Now it's 11:16 a.m. We also see Alkebulan, 10:17, U.S. Pennsylvania. Another supporter, Set Apart Assembly of Yah, Brother Derek Yeshua, New Jersey, 10:16. Another one from Philadelphia, Maya Kuba. It's 10:17. Shabbat Shalom from Toronto, that's Canada. New Jersey, USA. South Africa, Bethlehem, South Africa. So it's 9:17 in Texas. Here's another one from Switzerland, from Michael J, 16:17. Another one from FOP, Shalom family. We see all of you, family. Another person from Florida without the time, Nora Bained. Shabbat Shalom, Philadelphia, Botswana, Namibia. It's a lot of people. Carolina. Ron, we already have 356 people joining us. They can't wait to hear the message. Let us level up the likes with the number of the eyeballs. If you've liked, don't like again. Brother Ron, please open with a word of prayer for us.
Okay. All heads bowed. First of all, Father Yah, we want to give you all the praise and glory because it belongs to you. You're all the Elohim, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are the Almighty. You are the Creator, Lord of Lords, Kings of Kings. You're the one who is, who was, and is to come. We want to thank you for sending your Son, the Redeemer. People call him Christ, Jesus, Yahusha, Yeshua, the one that came for the salvation of our sins for the Israelites and the Gentiles. We want to ask you today to forgive us of any of our trespasses and our transgressions against the law of Moses, because you know that we are your people. We are your children. You are our Father. We ask you this day that you open our eyes and minds to allow us to receive the message today that's being brought forth. You know, throughout history, we have been a stiff-necked and hard-headed people. Many times we lack faith in the things that you have written about in the Bible. And that Satan, the adversary, has done all that he's can and still doing what he's trying to do to stop prophecy from unfolding. The things that you know and you have written and you have spoken to your prophets that is destined and has been written to come to pass, because we are the Israelites and only we can fulfill those prophecies, no one else. We ask you today that all those that are listening in the different continents and countries around the world, that they receive this message and that it does something to them and it gives them a wake-up call, and it starts to get us around the board of talking about planning and acting and preparing, because we are living in perilous times and serious times and critical times, where we see things happening around us just as it was prophesied in the Bible, with wars and rumors of wars, nations rising against nations. Wickedness is all over, and the love of many is waxed cold. But today we want to hear from you and see what it is we need to do. As people are ready, people are tired, people want an answer. We've been crying out like we did back in the days of the Egypt and slavery and bondage before the Exodus with your prophet and leader Moses. So yesterday that you blessed us live with me and Brother Dinano, for those that are listening, and we achieved the things that is in your will. In the name of the Father, Yahuwah, the Son, Yahusha, HaMashiach, whom the world knows Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that wonderful prayer, Brother Ron.
Thanks.
What have you got in store for the people of God, for the people of Yah today?
A lot. So I'm ready to go. Whenever you're ready for me to go,
I
because you know
just said,
I don't
yeah,
like to waste time. I don't like
yeah,
to waste time because it's a lot of stuff I want to cover.
I just said to you, I will not disturb you like I usually do. So I'm going to give you about 20 minutes to just give us an introduction. I'll jot down my notes and then I'll ask you a couple of questions and then we'll go for the rest of the presentations. And then a bit later, we'll allow people to come in, to call in, and to engage you live. Is that fine?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 7. Stage is yours, Brother Ron.
Okay, so in Ezekiel 38, 7, it says to be prepared and prepare thyself for all that are assembled unto thee. And the Most High is giving us, the Israelites, a warning in Africa, in the diaspora, those that are the descendants of his children, the sons of Jacob. And we have to know who we are. We have to know where our homeland is for us to understand the things that are happening to this day. And it's not a coincidence that in the world we're seeing um, the collapse of America, the collapse of Europe, and all these other countries fighting each other. Thailand attacking Cambodia. You got China is, aggressively doing things against Taiwan, and we see Ukraine and Russia, Israel, and the Middle Eastern nations that uh, they believe are a threat to them. We see America and Venezuela, Cuba, and other things that America has on its plate right now in this global war, this world war. But at the same token, there is a focus on Africa, a new scramble for Africa, a new colonization 2.0. And if we're not careful, if we don't pay attention, then we are not going to be prepared for what they have planned for Africa. We have the youth. The youth is the majority population of Africa, and they need to be prepared to know what's happening because they are the future. They're going to be living in this future as long as we are still alive on this earth. So those of us that are here now, that are not too old, not too young, that have the wisdom and knowledge, need to start to speak about these things, teach about these things, and prepare our people for what is coming. Because the Bible tells us to be prepared, and that means that danger is coming. Danger is coming. You don't prepare for things that are pleasant and good, and we're expecting it. We're preparing for things that are an attack against us, things that are not going to be in our favor. And this is all in Ezekiel 38, where it talks about the other nations that are going to be the predator, because it says that these nations are going to come and they're going to prey upon the land and the people within the land. It says this in the Bible. So in Ezekiel 38, who is the predator? Who are these nations today that are going to be the predator, and who are the prey? We are the prey. The Israelites in sub-Saharan Africa, in the diaspora that are scattered. So we have to understand this very clearly. If we are the prey, that is not good, because when a lion preys upon a zebra, the zebra is lunch, and the zebra is going to die at the expense of the lion needs to feed. And we don't want to be anybody's prey So therefore, we need to prepare. And today's lesson is going to uncover all of these things and why this is part of many lessons and teachings that we need to be sharing with others. This is an easy way to, after the live, to share with millions of other people so that they can also see and hear what is being said today. So that being said, Dinano, I can start whenever you want.
Okay, just to set the scene, let us go to the actual scripture and read the Bible verse that you had given us, Brother Ron. It is found in Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 7. It reads, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a God unto them."
Short and simple. Yeah. All right. So you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Okay. Okay, got
If you've
it.
just joined us, thank you very much for joining us. We want to welcome all 566 of you who have joined us for this special live stream presentation by Brother Ron Dalton Jr. I told him, and
Not,
I've told you, that we're not going to disturb him much. We're just going to allow him to go on with his presentation. Let
no,
me
I have
just,
audio too. So
pardon?
if you, I have audio in here too. So let me know if you hear it when I play it.
Okay.
If you
It looks
can't hear
like
it,
your shared screen has disappeared now, Ron.
okay, you got to add it in. Did you add it? Did you
Not
add it
yet.
in?
Not yet.
Okay, try to add it in because
I saw it just
I
now and then it just went away. Brother Ron is trying to share his screen with us so that we can all see what he's presenting as he is putting it into
okay.
words.
Let me do it again. Let me see.
Okay. Thank you. We see all of you from the different countries that you've mentioned. We saw someone from Gaborone, Namibia, Moaferikeng. How do I say this? We also see someone from Nigeria. Okay, let's add this screen then, Brother Ron,
Wait, hold on,
so
hold on,
that
wait, hold on. Hold
you've just
on.
taken it off.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Okay, okay, here we go. All right, do you see it?
someone is asking how Sir Ahmadiel is. Let me just edit. It's there, Ron. Let's go. I've
Okay,
been talking to Sir Ahmadiel. He seems fine, but you know, in a war zone, can never really know. Go on, Brother Ron.
okay. So wait a minute. Okay, is it large enough?
I can see it on my side. Maybe if you want to make it bigger to fill the whole screen, you can do that.
Okay, what
You
about
took it
now?
away now. No, you've taken it away. You've stopped sharing now.
Oh man. Okay, so I know what's going on. So
Okay.
I gotta do it like this because it's not allowing me to go big for some reason on your show.
So Kabane, your name always gets me. Hi, brother Dinano. How's our model in Israel, please? I'm a bit concerned about our own in Israel. I've been speaking to him during the week. He didn't express any concern. I know he is in a place called Dimona. I've also been almost kind of obsessing about what's happening there because I also had a friend who was in Dubai who's made it safely to this country of ours, Ningizimu. Sir Madel was fine. He didn't say anything, but I can check up on him during the live. He'll let us know. Ron, I'm waiting for you to share so that I can put it through. Lavis Wilford,
Okay.
another loyal supporter of the podcast. Shalom, late but here from Illinois, 9:28 a.m. Welcome, sister. You are not that late. We are about to get started with the presentation. Good morning,
Okay.
good day, shalom. Yeah, Ron, it's still not there, Ron. It's not
You
showing.
Okay.
Do you want to send it to me in the meantime?
Yeah, let me just try one more time.
Ose is back again. It's
Do you
early in
see
the
it? Do
morning
you see
for
it now?
him. It's there on. I see it. Welcome, Ose. Thank you for joining us and waking up. You've made it on time for Brother Ron's presentation. We can see it, Ron. It's fine like this.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can go with it.
All right. So Africa is where the last war is coming. The we call it the Battle of Armageddon, um, and it's not going to be in Israel because people believe right now that it's in Israel. This was the setting the stage for the Battle of Armageddon when it's actually not. Now, one of the things I want to touch on is everybody that's alive right now in the land of the living. What are we here for? What is our purpose in life? Are we here just to exist? I mean, a lot of people ask the question, "What is my purpose on life? Is it have a calling? Is there a meaning behind it? Are we here just to work a 9 to 5 job for 30 years, retire, and then live out our old years with or without medical ailments until we die?" We have all witnessed loved ones die old and young. Once you're gone, you're gone. We all know this. But are we here to just make memories? Are we here to prepare the way for just our children and our people, meaning our nation? Are we satisfied with the condition and state of our people and our country or nation or continent? Most people would probably say no. Do we see where things are headed in the world and know that the younger generation that is coming up is not prepared for it? Do we know that the cycle of suffering and oppression will only worsen for the youth? Because we should know that right now the cycle of suffering and oppression is not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to complain? We're going to say we're just going to pray about it. We're going to call on a fast and not do anything because faith without works is dead. We know that we have to, in addition to having faith and pray, we have to commit to action. And that's important. So living free in the world where we don't have to pay utilities, we don't have to pay for food to eat at the grocery store. We don't necessarily have to slave for somebody else that doesn't look like us for 30 to 40 years and then make their company rich and we don't own anything. We don't have anything. We're still dependent on them. These kind of things is not going to materialize out of thin air. They're not going to drop down from the sky and land into our lap. These things have to be built. Houses have to be built. Farms have to be put together. All these things require physical labor and action, and in many cases, money. Because we have land. A lot of people have land, but then to develop the land, it takes money. It takes effort. Now, I wanted to kind of touch on something before I get into the meat, because we have the elders and the teachers that are alive and those that have passed. Like my good brother Michael Laws from Beit Ephraim, Reverend Leonard Kimani Mungai, Kikuyu tribe. Now, a lot of these elders, they know a lot of stuff. Elder Mungai told me some stuff about the Congo many, many years ago, and at a conference that I did in Detroit, and we were in the bathroom, and he was washing his hands, and I just asked him some questions, and he told me the answer, and it blew my mind what he was telling me about the Israelites and the Bantu people and the Congo and Kenya, and why did he even leave Kenya and was in Michigan. And Brother Michael Laws, he had heard him speak and knew a lot of the things that he had said, and it kind of touched his brain on believing that the true Holy Land and a lot of what's in the Bible is in Africa. Now, another brother of mine, friend of mine that helped me with Hebrews to Negroes, the movie, he had recently passed away. Rest in peace to Tobias Smith. And he was less than 50 years old, had a heart attack, acute coronary, and died. He's no longer with us. but he did a lot of good things in his life. And I'm taking you guys here to prove a point. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear that? It's kind of low.
It is kind of low, Ron.
Okay, that's fine. It's low on my end too. All right, so let me go to the next slide. All right. Okay. All right. So that guy that was there, he was a Caucasian guy that knows black people are the Israelites of the Bible. He did a video went viral, got over 1 million views many years ago. But here's the thing: the brother right here, Tobias Smith, he was the one that put me in touch with Kanye West's publicist in the year 2022 when he was doing a lot of talking about who are the real Jews, and he was saying a lot of things about the Jewish community, and people didn't like that, and he got cut from Adidas. So at that time, before the Kyrie post in October 2022, I had got the number from Tobias, called Kanye West's publicist at the time, and I told her who I was before she had to run into a meeting. I offered to send Kanye all my Hebrews to Negroes movies and books when I spoke to his publicist on the phone. And she said to me, he already has them and knows who you are. She told me if there was anything that I wanted to pass on to Kanye, to send it via text if she was due for a meeting. I texted her what I wanted her to pass on to Kanye in a text, and she texted me later that she did pass on the information that I sent her to Kanye. After the Kyrie post in 2022, various mass media outlets contacted me via email, and some of them called me. Now we have to understand that CNN, Newsweek, the Washington Post, a lot of the mass media in their higher up levels, they have a lot of Jewish people. The CNN is owned by Jewish founded Warner Brothers, and is set to be acquired by Larry Ellison's son, David Ellison. He's Jewish, and he's the owner of Paramount Global, which owns BET. And Larry Ellison owns Oracle, and he owns TikTok. And they're about to acquire CNN. The Washington Post was founded by Eugene Isaac Meyer, a Jewish guy. And when I did talk to these mass media outlets, they all wanted to know, are you in communication with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West? Are they funding you? Is what they asked. And they said, when I said no, they said, who is funding you? Also, they said, how are you able to make these movies? Because they know it takes money and time. They said, where do you work at? They want to know where I work at. I didn't tell them. And they say, how many people have streamed your movie? Can you please check your analytics and tell us? That's when I realized that the elite have to do everything in their power to prevent God's message of truth from reaching millions, and from God's chosen people doing what the Bible says they are supposed to do with their land once they unite. So 3 simple things that the elite have to do. They have to keep us from uniting, meaning they have to keep us divided. They have to control marketing, advertising of the truth to millions of people via mass media control, social media, TV, radio, podcasts, movies. They have the control of that. And they do not want to allow those with a true message and solution to obtain funding. And I'm going to show you why. In the Bible, it tells us no man shall buy or sell save he the mark of the beast, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. This is in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, 17. And we're talking about the beast system. True worship is obedience. So when the Bible tells us that we're going to worship the beast, it is not talking about praise and worship. It's talking about obedience, compliance, submitting to the beast. So Revelation 13:8, when it says, all who dwell on the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life belonging to the Lamb who was slain. In Revelation 13:4, prior to that, it says they worship the dragon who had given authority to the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast, and who can wage war against the beast? The word worship in the Hebrew means to obey, to submit, to comply. Not we're going to sing songs and beat on the tambourine and beat the drum. So the whole world will obey and submit to the beast and will take what is necessary to continue to buy and sell and pay bills in the world, because paying bills is simply a company giving you an invoice and telling you that for our monthly service, for you to have electricity and water and sewage and these things, that you're going to have to pay us a monthly bill. So we are the seller of the service that we're going to bill you monthly, and you are the buyer. Either way it goes, you still have to pay using cash, and they're going to control all of that, paying bills, buying things, selling things. So they're going to cause the whole world to obey and submit to their system. There's no turning back. We all have to make a final choice. We know that it's coming because it's in the Bible. However, are we going to do anything about it? Or are we going to see what the Bible says is going to happen, and we're going to continue right into it?
In 1926, they discovered the perfect trap. 40 hours keeps you alive, but too tired to escape. Henry Ford ran the numbers. He tested different work schedules and found the sweet spot. 40 hours. Not because it's optimal for productivity, because it's optimal for control. Let's do the math. 40 hours work, 10 hours commuting, 56 hours sleeping, 14 hours for eating, showering, basic survival. That's 120 hours, leaving you 48 hours of free time. Except you're exhausted. So you spend Saturday recovering from the week, and Sunday dreading Monday. Your weekend isn't freedom, it's recovery time, so you can do it again. Monday morning, the alarm goes off, and you feel it, that existential dread. 5 days until freedom. 5 days of giving your life away. For what? A paycheck that disappears instantly. Rent, bills, food, loans. Nothing left. You want to start that business? Too tired. Learn that skill? Too tired. Build that project? Too tired. That's not an accident. That's the design. If you had energy left over, you'd leave. If you had money left over, you'd build something. If you had time left over, you'd organize. They can't let that happen. So they found the formula. Just enough money to survive. Just enough time to not completely break. Just enough energy to come back tomorrow. But never enough to escape. And then they tell you, work hard for 45 years, then you can retire. So you do it. You trade your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s for a paycheck. And at 65, you're free. Except your body's broken, your energy's gone. You spent your best years building someone else's dream, and your freedom came too late to use it. The 40-hour work week isn't about productivity, it's about compliance. Keep you tired, keep you poor, keep you busy.
All right, Janelle, we are able to hear that. Just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
we can hear it. Audible, Ron.
Okay. All right, hold on a second. This computer's doing something.
I'm exhausted to think.
All right, let me go. Okay.
Family, thank you for being here. We see all 1,008 of you who decided to join us today. Thank you, Brother Ron, for the presentation. It's taking us probably to a place we don't want to be at, where we're going to have to do some introspection. But carry on with the presentation.
All right, your audio was low when you just talking, but I don't know why. But anyway,
Go
okay.
ahead, Ron.
So Satan's access of power to control you and us forever is simple. Is economics, meaning money, commerce, trade, banking, education, including religious. Control the narrative is what they do. The British English curriculum is seen and taught throughout the West and in Africa. Entertainment, mass media, social media, TV, movies, radio, music, sports, marketing, advertising, podcasts, they have to control that. Labor, control big businesses in your country so that they control the monopoly board, like the game. And we are just workers. The law, the laws that they help to pass favor the ruling elite. That's why they have to infiltrate political parties and get inside the government. That's why they have lobbyists. Politics, control governments and control presidents. We see this was happening in Africa and Europe and America. Religion, how they finance the machine. Christians finance the money and send it to Israel because Israel is seen as the Holy Land, and the people there are God's chosen people. For all these years, they've been financing uh, Israel, meaning America, others in the Christian church worldwide. Sex, gender confusion, immorality, porn, fornication. This is all promoted to help people worldwide and the Israelites disobey and break God's commandments. Travel, restrict the ability for people to freely travel, settle, and do business in other countries with visa and passport laws. In Europe, if you're part of a European Union country, you can freely travel, live, and do business in any European Union country. You don't need a visa or a passport. In America, you can freely live, travel, and do business in any of the 50 United States of America, including Hawaii and Puerto Rico. In India, you can freely live, travel, and do business in any of the different provinces and regions of India, from South India to Northeast India to Northwest India, Central India. You do not need a passport and a visa. In Africa, however, you do need to have a visa and a passport to leave, to travel, to freely work and settle in another African country. That is a system of control that they kept in place after African countries got their independence. This is how they control us, the Israelites. War, shift people here and there for a reason. The end justifies the means as to why we are in different wars, and things happen in the Congo with the conflicts with the rebels, and the result is the mineral deals that the United States gets full access to the Congo's minerals. So all these are things that Satan uses as his access of power control. If you go against these things, you will be met with strong resistance. Sorry. Okay. So when the Jews buy ExpressVPN, one of the largest VPN um, companies, this is concerning because VPNs is how people shadow their IP addresses worldwide, and we know that TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Google is also founded and controlled by Jewish CEOs and executives.
This was on Wednesday, December the 10th. When we measure and track. Number two, we monitor and disrupt. We have a whole apparatus. I have 40 analysts working full time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, monitoring extremists. We monitor them online, social media, messaging apps, video games, cryptocurrency, podcasts, short form video, Wikipedia, LLMs. We monitor these people and we share the intelligence with the FBI. You saw last month, you heard about the thing that happened at Wilshire Boulevard Temple. Our analysts investigated what happened. They said they were Koreatown for Palestine, this group of people. They weren't. We were able to ascertain they were from a group called the Turtle Island Liberation Front.
Turtle Island is how like left-wing activists refer to the United States. They don't call it America, they call it Turtle Island, like the Iranians call it the Zionist entity, or they won't call it by its name. The Turtle Island Liberation Front, we gave them a whole dossier. What is Turtle Island Liberation Front? What are their ideas, their goals? Who are they? We identified the people who were in the synagogue. This was on Wednesday, December the 10th. On Monday, December the 15th, this is going to ring a bell. Kash Patel announced they cracked a terror ring where they arrested 4 people who were planning New Year's Eve bombings. Turtle Island Liberation Front. At least one of the people I know for certain was in the building at Wilshire Boulevard Temple, vandalizing it and disrupting the event.
All right. So Netanyahu said that the biggest purchase that they recently acquired was TikTok, and that their goal is X and Twitter. And we know that the founder of Netflix is Mark Randolph. He's Jewish. We know that the founder and the CEO of Amazon is Andy Jassy, and he's also Jewish. And they will let you know in the magazines that the coming CEO is Jewish. When you look at these magazines, they'll tell you who is going to be heading the new company. Why is this important? Because in South Africa and in America and in Europe, many people only look at Netflix and Amazon. And the axis of power and control doesn't just sit in one continent, one country. Because as we discussed last week, the South African Jewish Board of Deputies were alerted to the film Hebrews to Negroes in June of 2023 when it was screened at Florida Theater. The board was alerted by its counterparts in the United States, where the film producers live. They claim that they have been involved in distributing anti-Jewish conspiracies, films, and social media for many years. So even in the meetings that I had with them, they admitted in the meeting that they follow everything that I post on social media and the comments. So they're watching, just like the ADL said they're watching. The South African Jewish Board of Deputies, they're also watching everything that I do in South Africa. And so when we look at Amazon and this movie that they banned recently in South Africa, they are always in the know, and they notify their counterparts throughout the world. Hey, we were successful in banning the movie Hebrews to Negroes in South Africa. We are the first country to do so. Good job, guys. And when anybody comes in as a new CEO to a company, a major company, like in this case, Amazon, the Yeshiva World News lets you know that, hey, in 2021, the next CEO of Amazon is going to be Jewish. Showmax, partly was owned by NBC Universal, was bought out by Canal, is no longer going to be available in Africa. What does this mean now? It means that South Africans now, most times when you have a film, you want to make money, you're going to have to go to Amazon or Netflix. And if they deny your film, then you don't have nowhere to distribute your film. So you can't make money off your film. You have to go through the gatekeepers to make money off your film, and the film has to meet a certain quality control, and it has to fit the narrative. If it doesn't fit the narrative, then it's not going to be accepted on that platform that people are looking at worldwide. This is why I'll say that it's always important that we control as much as we can so we can tell our own narratives and stories and history. And this is why, Dinano, you already know about this, that we created Mozanti Wood Films and Distribution. And of course, I already have h2ntv.com. And if anybody is interested, they can email me at hebrewsternegros@yahoo.com. So here's where it gets interesting. Funding for the Black community in Africa and America, the Caribbean, is something that they don't want, especially if it goes towards empowering, educating, and edifying our people, getting us to do things that we need to be doing. So donation and fundraiser campaigns, these things that are for a specific cause, they are attacked. Because when I had this GoFundMe a couple years ago, after the Kyrie incident, they sent me a message saying that we are sending you this message to inform you that your account has been removed because it violates our terms of service. But the GoFundMe was for the H2N Africa Mission Fund. So it did
Hold
not
on, Ron.
violate any. Yes,
So GoFundMe, the public platform that helps people raise money for their causes, actually reached out and said, you can't continue.
correct.
That sounds ridiculous. Okay, carry on.
Well, it's because they don't want the funding to go forth. So even after that was shut down, I started another one called the Dalton African Mission Fund. And not too long ago, last year, I went to go look for it, and they removed that one too. They just took it down. They just say, "Hey, we're just going to start taking this stuff down." Now, here's the thing, guys. This is how I know that they do not want us to build a nation and to start doing our own thing, because they don't want certain people in the world to be funded. Those that have a influence and they're saying the right stuff, they get nervous and scared. That's why they banned the movie Hebrews to Negroes. So when CNN and the Washington Post and Newsweek, when they contacted me, they were very clear. They were very clear. They said that even though they put in the email, we want to talk to you, they don't want to interview you. They just said, we don't want to interview you, Ron Dalton. We want to know who's funding you. So when they called me, they didn't say we would like to interview you about the Kyrie post. We want to know who's funding you. And are there any celebrities communicating with you and working with you? How many people watched the movie? Are you working on any other projects? Do I have the proof? Yeah, I have the proof. This is one of my book contacts at the time, Echo Point Books. They said, "Good morning, Mr. Dalton. We have received the following request for media interviews. Please let me know if you prefer to receive this information directly or if you have an agent who's handling these types of requests." So this guy named Maham Javid from the Washington Post, subject is urgent request from the Washington Post. He says, "Hello, I hope you're well. My name is Maham Javid. I am a reporter at the Washington Post. I am working on a story about Hebrews to Negroes that your publishing house published. We would love to speak to the editor who edited the book and the PR agent who promoted it." And here we have another one from Brooke Howard. Contact. This is another person. Says, "Hello, I'm a race and identity reporter with the Daily Beast." This is connected to the Washington Post and all these guys. "I was wondering what would be the best way to contact Ronald Dalton Jr., the author of the Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. Please let me know. I would like to schedule an interview with him." Newsweek. "My name is Emma. I'm a writer at Newsweek. I'm doing a story on the Kyrie incident, Irving's recent support of the film Hebrews to Negroes and the backlash surrounding that. Wanted to reach out to someone from the film who could give some comments or statements on that. Why is the film so largely being called out for anti-Semitic tropes? What's your thoughts on that? And what does Kyrie's Irving support on the film mean to you?" CNN. Here with CNN. I hope you're doing well. I'm reaching out for a comment or statement regarding claims for the film Hebrews to Negroes perpetuates anti-Semitic tropes. Professional basketball player Kyrie Irving has received backlash after publicly supporting your film. Do you have a response to the backlash? All of these people, when they called me, they said, "We would like to talk to you." And I said, "Okay, about what?" And they said, "We want to know how you're being funded." They said, "How many people have seen the movie? Can you tell us? Can you go to your analytics and tell us so we can run the numbers?" And I said, "No, it's none of your business. They said, well, why can't you? I said, because none of your business. They said, where you work at? I said, none of your business. They said, well, did Kanye and Kyrie, did they contact you? Are they funding you? Are they donating to you? I said, no. I said, no, they didn't contact me. And they said, well, how are you able to make these movies? And so I realized then that they didn't want to talk to me about the movie and get my take on it and see if I wanted to apologize. They didn't ask me to apologize. They didn't ask me about the movie. They wanted to know specific details about the movie, which involved funding.
And
I
none of
didn't
these
give them
people,
anything.
Ron,
I said, you have to interview me. And they said, we don't want to interview you.
Ron, and none of them asked you about the contents of the movie, whatever it was that you were saying about the real and the true Israelites. They just wanted to know who was funding you.
Yes, correct. So throughout these last couple of years, Indiegogo is another crowdfunding platform in America. Anytime anybody sent anything over $1,000, they contacted me and said, we're holding this donation because it is currently pending by our trust and safety team. So they think that it's fraud. They think that there's something going on illegal. So they have to investigate why you got a donation for $1,500. We're going to investigate this. And then what do? They send the money back. They say that it's fraud. But it tells you the name of the person that donated and their email. It tells you their name and their email in the donation platform. This is how I know that they don't want me funded. And they shut these platforms down. All these things I talk about on H2N TV on this particular the tweet that changed the world. So this is how I know that they're sitting back in Africa, the South African Jewish Board of Deputies, the people in America, they're sitting back and they're talking about Ron Dalton. How can we stop funding for Ron Dalton? How can we shut Ron Dalton down? Look at what he did at Monte Casino Theater. Look at what he tried to do. We shut that down. Look at what he did at Soweto Theater. He was successful, but we got the movie banned now. So if you try to show it, you get 5 years in jail in South Africa. You try to sell it, you get 5 years in jail in South Africa. You try to promote it in South Africa, you get 5 years in jail. Ha ha, we got him. So all across the world, they are monitoring us getting this truth and activating behind the truth in the message and the information in the movie. So this is the reason why we have to continue to put out truth and information like Hebrews 10 Eagles, Wake Up Africa, the next project I'm working on. Also, Judeophobia, meaning that there's a lot of Black people today that are fearful of the Jews. They don't want to have anything to do with anything that goes against their narrative because you can't bite the hand that feeds you. So the Bible says you cannot serve two masters. You cannot hate one and love. So you're going to either hate one and love the other, or else you will hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. Christ said this. But we know there's many Black celebrities that I know about personally that contacted me, that if I said their names right now, you guys will be blown up. You will be blown away, that have said, hey, we follow you. We have seen your work, your books, your movies. You do need to be funded. You do need support. But when it comes down to it, they cannot do it because there are people watching their accounts. There are people watching what they do. And so therefore, Kanye and Kyrie and other Black celebrities worldwide, they cannot support, they cannot donate, they cannot fund because they have handlers that are watching everything. And you cannot fuel the awakening of the Israelites in America or Africa. So these kind of things are very detrimental and damaging to the elite's plan for Africa. But we know that the Most High can't stop. Most High is not going to let them stop Bible prophecy. It has to happen at some point. It's a matter of the fact was when. So this is why I always urge people, Dinano, to support those people that are doing the work to try to get the message out to Africa and to the diaspora, because it is high time that we come together and we get this truth out, because they are in direct opposition for us not to get this truth, because they know what's at stake. They know what is
Beyond
at stake.
beyond this, us complaining, Ron, we need to reach a point as a people that we build our own platform. You know, we've been talking about this thing in the background, the two of us, but we should at some point get tired of complaining because we see that they are watching everything. Last week, by the way, on our Shabbat live stream, we did put up your details on the description of the video. We have it there again this week. But even before the show was over, people were calling in saying they can't reach you via your PayPal or your Cash App because there's seemingly something wrong with it.
Yeah, because what they've done with Cash App is that they have made it to where if you try to look for my Cash App ID, it's not there. But if I send you $1 to your Cash App ID, then you'll see me. So they have made it to where I have to sometimes send $1 to you, and then you'll see me. But to search my ID, it's gonna say not found, even though it's there, when you search it, it will not show up. And I've asked Cash App about this, but they act like they don't know what's going on. You see, these are the things that they can control behind the scenes to prevent us from getting funds. And if you want to email me, then of course I can navigate how to do it. But anyway, people
Oh,
like
hold
Candace
on, Ron.
Owens.
Hold on. I'm just seeing that the chats are getting out of hand now, and people are using rude language. Guys, if you use rude language, David Way 4259, I'm actually banning you because we can't take such language here. Tyrone, I'm also warning you. Stop spamming the live chat with what you want to say. I've told you to reach out if you want to say something. Come through. We will give you time and you'll come on the platform. But now spamming the live chat saying that you are the one, you are the chosen one, and your gospel, whatever it is, brother, please relax. Relax. Yeah. So, Tyrone, I'm watching you. If you continue spamming, I'm taking you out. Ron, let's bring it closer to home now.
Yeah,
Ezekiel
I am.
38:7 saying, be
Yes,
prepared. How do we
yes.
prepare ourselves? What are we preparing ourselves for? Who is
Yeah.
being addressed in that scripture? Take us there.
Okay, so here's the thing. We have to understand first, to understand Ezekiel 38, you have to understand the people of the book, the Israelites, the Canaanites, the land of Canaan. When you look at, and I'm gonna get past this because I was trying to put a point, because this is what's happening right now in our people, and this is all a part of us not understanding what's going on. But let me skip this part. Okay, so in Ezekiel 38, and I'll go through this another day. Ezekiel 38, it talks about Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters. Many bands, many people with thee. Ezekiel 39 says, and I will cause thee to come from the north parts, and I will cause thee to come from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. We know that in the northern hemisphere, we see the countries of America, Canada, Europe, Israel, the Arab nations, China, Russia, even India are all in the northern hemisphere. And in the southern hemisphere, as you get to the equator, you start to enter into the countries of sub-Saharan Africa. So the Bible is telling us that in the latter days, that these other nations, Gog and Magog, or Gomer and Magog and Meshach and Tubal, Togarmah, Persia, all these nations are going to come against the mountains of Israel from the north. They're going to come down to the south. Esau is not the white races. So Gomer is not Esau. Magog is not Esau. Tubal is not Esau. Meshach is not Esau. You have to get that clearly. Ezekiel 38 talks about Japheth's sons. The Iranians today are not the Persians. They are Turks. They are the children of Togarmah, the children of Japhet, his son Gomer. If you look briefly at this map of the DNA, paternal from the father of the Iranians, the largest pie chart color code is the white and red stripes. White and red stripes. You can see in the upper right corner. It just gives you a breakdown of all the stripes, all the different colors. So with that, you'll see the red and white stripes is J2, the Y-DNA J2. The Y-DNA J2 is also one of the largest DNA haplogroups in Ashkenazi Jews. Why is that? Because they both descend from Central Asian Turkic tribes. The Ottoman Turks, look at the graph of the Y-DNA J2. You see that the hotspot of the green and the dark green is smack dab in Turkey. Well, who lives in Turkey? The people that speak the Turkish language, which is the descendant of the Turkic language. So the Ottoman Turks from Central Asia, like Turkmenistan, they came from Central Asia and they conquered and settled in Asia Minor. And they renamed that land and that city called Constantinople, which was controlled by the Greeks. They renamed it Istanbul, Turkey. And the majority language there is Arabic because that's the language of the religion of Islam. And they speak their mother tongue, which is the Turkish language, rooted from the Turkic dialect. So J2 is connected to the Ottoman Turks, or the Turkmen. They are the descendants of Japhet, and these Persians, or we call them Iranians today, they are not the children of Persia. They are the children of Togarmah. You can see Iraq is between Syria and Iran. Iraq is next door to Iran, and then right below Turkmenistan is Iran. The sons of Japhet, Gomer, Magog, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus, Madai. They are the white Arabs and the white European Jews. They are the sons of Gomer, Togarmah. The Israelites, Bantu, Negroes, and West Africans with the same DNA, E1B1A. The Battle of Armageddon, the last war on earth, is named Har Megiddo, the place of multitudes, the mountains where multitudes of troops and armies will converge. This is in Revelation 16:16. What does this tell us about the future battle in the Holy Land of modern day Israel? Well, the Holy Land is what you today are believing it to be. If you believe it to be in Israel today, then you're looking at what's happening today. You're trying to make sense of what's going on. Is this the Battle of Armageddon? Are all the nations going to start to rise up against Israel to fight them? Russia and China, North Korea and Iran, and whoever else wants to join in as allies to Iran. Is this about Armageddon? No, it's not, because they are all the descendants of Japhet. When you look at Russia, you look at United States, France, Britain, China, they all are starting to put more and more military bases in Africa. Now, why is that? Because at some point, military bases are used as strategic points for when you want to go to war and send out troops and drones and everything else of that nature. We have to understand that Persia, it says Persia, Cush, and Put will accompany Gomer and Magog, meaning the Chinese and the Russians, Meshach, the Russians, Magogians, the Europeans, the Germanic Celtic tribes that took over the Roman Empire in 476 AD. They are also now in America and in Canada. Persia, Cush, and Put will accompany these other nations with shields and helmets. Who are the sons of Put, Cush, and Persia? Togarmah, the Turks, the Khazarians, the white Arabs. But in this slide, we're going to talk about the Turkmen, the Khazars of Central Asia that adopted the religion of Judaism and became known today as the European Jews. We see that the Aryan North Indians are a different genetic bloodline than the southern dark-skinned Indians. The Aryan Indians controlled the Indian government. The same person, Modi, who's the president of India from Gujarat, is of the same bloodline as Mahatma Gandhi. They're from the same area of India, northwest India. Why is this important? Because India has a role to play as well in this coalition of nations and what's happening today in the world.
Right? And the drones bombing Gaza right now are being made in India by a company owned by Adani. Me, the Hermes 900, the deadliest drone in the Israeli army. It is being manufactured in Hyderabad. The Adani Elbit factory shipping these killer drones directly into the war zone. And it gets worse. It's not just the private companies. A shipping data report shows that Munitions India, which is a company owned by the Indian government, sent explosives and artillery propellants to Israel right in the middle of the war. While the world is screaming boycott, India is finalizing a massive 78,000 crore deal with Israel for missiles and drones. We call ourselves Vishwaguru, but in reality, we are a war factory for the world. I have compiled a list of every Indian company mentioned in the investigation.
I think we should not support a country that is committing genocide. We have ample evidence. It is not about self-defense anymore. We are seeing that there is rising Islamophobia within the country, and we know that the Zionist goal is different. But we know that Islamophobia is being used to fuel things over here.
India is trying to bolster its international position by allying itself with Israel and using the same techniques, the same repression methods that it's learning from Israel on the citizens at home. This kind of close allyship is serving a kind of repressive state apparatus here, just like how the repressive apparatus works in the Gaza.
Israel has a lot to offer on technology, on defense, and many other aspects as such. And with this friendship, I feel that, Israel will also learn on the world peace, that how peace has to be maintained, how they have to work with the neighbors and also have harmony, and also how the democracy has to be restored from that perspective.
Israel is badly isolated in regional and the global politics right now. At this time, visiting Israel is giving us some kind of moral boost to Netanyahu, which is not acceptable to our democratic values, which is not acceptable at all to the dominant ethos and principle-based policy which we have.
Stands with Israel. We feel your pain. We share your grief. India stands with Israel firmly, with full conviction in this moment and beyond. For the last few years, India has been the fastest growing major economy in the world. Soon, we will be among the top 3 economies globally. At the same time, Israel is a powerhouse of innovation and technological leadership. This creates a natural foundation for our forward-looking partnership.
This is a bond of real friendship. Great friend, my great friend. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so how are they gonna get to be the top 3 economies in the world? Well, the same way that China and other countries, Europe has taken the resources of Africa, is how they're gonna do it, because you have to look at what Africa has, what India needs in terms of trade with Africa. Same thing with China, same thing with the United States of America, same thing with the Arabs. They all need Africa to become major economies in the world. Now, when you look at the sons of Kush, because the Persians, the real Persians are the Aryan Indians in the north that control India. The Persians are in alignment with these other nations. It says that Kush and Put are going to be with them. Who are the Kushites today? The true Kushites are the South Sudanese. They do have an army. They do have a country. They have a president. They have military officers that have helmets, shields, swords, guns, whatever you want to call it in terms of weaponry. We have to see that Russia is in alliance with the descendants of Kush. This is why Putin and his leaders are always in these regions of Africa, making sure that we have memorandums of understanding and agreements in place developing strong ties, including military ties, with the descendants of Cush. We know that the Sahel Alliance states that are with Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, that they are also in alliance with Russia. They have kicked out the France and took in and embraced Russia and the Wagner Group. The Bible says that these people will have armies. They will have shields and helmets. We know that the Khoisan and the African pygmies, they don't have any armies. They don't have any shields. They don't have any helmets. They don't even really control their country. Many of them don't have land. So then, therefore, we have to ask ourselves, who are these black people in Africa that do not have armies? They do not have their own land. They do not have their own president. You know, they are just existing in these particular lands that they live in as indigenous Africans or indigenous Hamites are the descendants of Canaan. When you look at the Puttites, who are the Puttites? Well, we have to look at the Hausa and the Fulani and the Tuaregs because they are also part of the end times prophecy. I break this all down in complete detail on H2N TV. Same thing with the Persians. You say, well, Ryan, how can you say that? How can you prove that they are not the real Persians? Well, it's because of the time. We don't have to show this. It's on H2NTV.com. So why doesn't the Christian church and the Israelite community teach about these things? Because we are too focused on Esau and the new covenant, and can Gentiles be saved, and is Christ divine, and all these, is the virgin birth really happened? Was Christ born of a real birth from a real father? These are the things. Now here's the facts. We look at the map on where Russia is putting their claim. It's not just Mali and Niger and Libya and Sudan and the CAR, African Republic, but it's also other countries that are also included on this map, like Chad. The president of Chad, Meshach and Put Alliance. The most common Y DNA haplogroup in Chad is R1b, which is not the same haplogroup that the Bantu people have, E1b1a. All across the Sahel, the R1b haplogroup from the father reigns supreme across Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, also Western Sudan, including Libya, including northern Nigeria, northern Togo, northern Cameroon. All these areas are the inhabitants and land of the Puttites. We know that the president of Niger is a Hausa. The Hausas, just like in northern Nigeria, are descendants of Put and Cush. The Russians that are in alliance with the Nigerians and the Chadians and South Sudanese and Burkina Faso and Mali. The Russians are not the descendants of Greeks. They're not the descendants of Romans, meaning that they weren't the people that were conquered in 476 AD when the old Roman Empire fell under these Roman rulers. So who are the Russians? They are the descendants of Meshach. They are the descendants of Meshach. Remember, the children of Persia, according to biblical books, like the Book of Jubilees, says that the daughter of Arphaxad married Porus, and Porus lived in the land of Shem with his descendants because he didn't want to live in the land of Japhet. So Persians have to be a mixture of Caucasians and Shemites. So they have to have color in their skin because true Shemites have melanin. True Shemites have melanin. Indians have melanin from light brown to dark brown. Keep going. So DNA studies can prove this outside of the Bible. This is a genetic study in regards to the Lake Chad Basin, which includes Nigeria, northern Nigeria, the CAR, and also Chad. Now, it's important to understand that these different ethnic groups in Chad, they have maternal DNA haplogroups from the mother, meaning that the women that birth the boys and women, they have a specific marker. What are these markers? And the markers of the people in Chad who are the Puttites. Chad is right below Libya or the land of Put. You'll see the DNA of the African pygmy woman, the mothers of the Israelites. And I'm going to explain why this is important. You can see L1b, which is also a maternal DNA haplogroup found in the African pygmies. Also the mother of the Israelites, also seen in the Bakongo people in the Congo, in Angola, Yoruba, Mandinka, in Senegal, Gambia, in Guinea. L1C. L1C is seen in the African pygmies, mothers of the Israelites, because they are the Canaanites. L2A, seen also in the African pygmies, West Africans, Bantu, Israelite men, boys, and women. L2B. L2B is seen in the African pygmies, mothers of the Israelites, because they're the Canaanites. L3B and L3D is seen in indigenous black Libyans, so Puttites like the Hausa and the Tuaregs and the Fulani. L3F is seen classically in the Kushites in South Sudan, like the Dinka and the Anuak and the Nur, and also in Puttites like the Hausa, the Fulani, and all those R1B Sahelian blacks that do not have the E1B1A haplogroup. L3E is seen predominantly in people that have connections to ancient Egypt and Libya, like the Fulanis and the Hausas and the Tuaregs. It's also seen strongly in East Africa because East Africa is right next to Sudan and Egypt. It's the same corridor. So when you flee from Egypt down the course of the Nile, you're going to be going into Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, East Africa. This is just a breakdown in case you don't believe me. I'm not going to focus on this, but it breaks down the percentages of these haplogroups in the various tribes in Chad. The Tubu tribe in southern Libya or Libya and Chad, they claim and say that they are the descendants and the indigenous people of Libya or the land of Put. Their Y DNA is R1B. They do not have the Y DNA E1B1A that the Bakongos, the Zulus, the Basotos, the Swanas, the Kikuyus, the Yorubas, the Bakongo, all these other nations have in sub-Saharan Africa. They don't have the same DNA as us. They are a different bloodline from the descendants of Ham's son Put. And Chad is in alignment with Meshach or Russia. We see that the Fulanis are throughout the Sahel from Senegal, Gambia, to Mali, to Burkina Faso, to Nigeria, to Chad, to Nigeria, to Cameroon, all the way to Sudan. You'll see them there. They have a different paternal father lineage than the Bantu Israelites. There are two in these countries that are in alignment with the Russians, the descendants of Meshach, as in Ezekiel 38. So when we look at the South Sudanese, like the Dinka, they are the descendants of Cush. The Somalians are connected to the ancient Egyptians, just like the Beja in Ethiopia, also in Sudan. They're connected to the ancient Egyptians. The African Pygmies, who are the indigenous people of sub-Saharan Africa, like the Congo, Angola, Gabon, Rwanda, Burundi, Malawi, Cameroon, they are the Canaanites. We've mixed with them. Therefore, because we mixed with them more than we mixed with the South Sudanese Kushites, we are not tall like the Dinka, that they're 6 feet tall and above, the men and women. We are more average height because we mixed with them and they are shorter statue people. The Tuaregs are the descendants of Put. Like the Haus and Fulanis, they are without the Y DNA E1B1A that is seen in Bantu people in Central Africa, East Africa, South Africa. The Tuaregs also have maternal DNA haplogroups that are corresponding to their indigenous land of Libya. This is such as L3B and L3D. They also have DNA that is corresponding to their partly genetic ties to the land of Kush in South Sudan, which is L3F. We have to look at the fact that the Israelites, women and men were enslaved by the Libyans in the Bible. Therefore, they also raped and had children with Israelite women who bore the DNA of the Canaanite women. So you have L0A and L2A1 and L1C that is also seen in the Tuareg tribes in Libya, because they live in Libya, known as the Tamashik people. So when we look at all these things, yes, they are black, but that doesn't mean that they are the same bloodline as the descendants of Jacob or the Israelites. his video on the Puttites. Okay. So the
Okay, Ron.
Fulani, the Hausas, the Tuaregs, the people that live in the Sahel, in these other countries that the Russians and the Wagner Group are dominantly in right now because they kicked out the French. These nations, the Bible says they're going to be in alliance with these other Japhetic nations, and in the future, they're all going to be in one goal. That one goal is to further the interest of these Japhetic nations into their plundering and stealing of the land and livestock of the Bantu Israelites. So it's not uncommon to see the Fulani and the Hausa stealing the livestock of the Igbos and other people living in the south of Nigeria. It's not uncommon to see the Hausas and the Fulanis and other nationalities encroaching into northern Ghana, in northern Ivory Coast, in northern Togo, northern Nigeria, northern Cameroon, into the southern parts, getting land and trying to set up shop in these lands that are inhabited by people that have E1B1A Israelite DNA descent. So when we look at the DNA charts of Africa, we can see that in the middle of Africa, in the Congo, you see that the Mbuti pygmy has the maternal DNA L2A. L2A is the most common maternal DNA seen in African Americans. It is also seen throughout the African continent in sub-Saharan Africa, meaning that if you are in sub-Saharan Africa, it's a good chance that your maternal DNA from your mother is L2A
Okay,
and its
Ron.
downstream clades.
Let's take some questions from people in the live chats, and then we'll open the lines. We saw someone call in. I think they left, but I've pinned the link to the back end of the studio. So if you've got a question for Ron, if you want to come in, please do so. We'll allow you to come in and engage Ron. In the meantime, let us acknowledge our super chats. We've got a super chat of $5 from G. Keith. Actually, G. Keith was trying to call in. G. Keith, just call again. We'll allow you to engage Ron. Thank you. Yeah.
Let me just show this last slide before we go to the calls, because
Okay.
I'm halfway through the presentation, so I guess I'll have to do another day.
Okay.
But
hold on, Ron.
so
Hold
when
on.
you look
Hold
at
on. Ron, wait. I'll give you a chance now. Let's just acknowledge these super chats. G. Keith, we see you. Just hang in there. Ron wants to finish off one more slide, and then we'll allow you to engage Brother Ron. We also have another super sticker from Dinaya, which it just explains what the sticker is doing. Thank you, Dinaya, for that $19.99. And then we had one more from Lisa Jackson, a super chat of $5. Keep doing truth. I supported the first project, HN. So they say they've been supporting you for a while, Ron. Okay, Ron, give us the last slide, and then we will open calls, and then we'll take some questions from the live chats too. Go ahead, Brother Ron.
So in Central Africa, where you have the Pygmies and the Bantu, the maternal DNA L2, L2A in L2A1. The reason why you're seeing L2, L2A, L2A1 is because these branches develop because people have been living there for so long, for over 1,000 years, thousands of years, to where the L2 maternal DNA haplogroup then had mutations that led to L2A. Then mutations came around that led to L2A1. It takes almost 1,000 years for a mutation to occur to give you a branch like L2A, L2A1. Why is this important? Because in the Bible, in 2 Chronicles 12, 2-9, 1 Kings 11:40, you'll see that God sent the Libyan Pharaoh, Sheshank, or Shoshank, the king of Egypt, to conquer Judah because of Judah's rampant idolatry. This is seen today as a relief in the Karnak temple in actual Egypt. The reason why we know this is true because right here it is, right here, the temple of Karnak in Egypt. And in 2 Chronicles 12:8, it says, nevertheless, they, meaning the Israelites, shall be his servants, that they may know my service and the service of the kingdoms of the countries. So at that time, it states that the Pharaoh Sheshank, king of Egypt, but he was a Libyan Puttite, he had 1,200 chariots, 3,000 horsemen, and the people with him that came were the Libyans, the Puttites, the Sukims, and the Cushites. And they took the fenced cities which pertained to Judah and came to Jerusalem. And it says at the bottom that because when you read the whole scripture, it tells you they have humbled themselves. Therefore, I will not utterly destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance. But my wrath shall not be poured out upon Jerusalem by the hand of Sheshank. Nevertheless, they, meaning the Israelites, shall be his servants, that they may know my service and the service of the kingdoms of the countries. This is the reason why on the walls of Karnak, it gives the list of all the cities, the 187 cities that the Libyan Puttite Pharaoh captured and took the Israelite men, women, and children as slaves, tying up their elbows and their necks, as you can see on the picture on the wall in Egypt. That's why the Libyan Puttites in Libya and the Sahel have a lot of the same maternal DNA that the Israelite women carried, because they intermarried with these slave women when they took them to Egypt and Libya back during the time of Solomon and his son Rehoboam.
I am just amazed, Ron, at the number of YouTube channels that someone who's spamming the live chats has. There's a brother called Tyrone Jangle, and he's just been at it for the longest time. And I keep banning his channels, but he keeps coming back. Thank you for the presentation, Ron. We have a guest who was called in, G. Keith. G. Keith, welcome. Do you want to engage Brother Ron?
Yes, I would like to talk to both of you youngsters, actually. I must say that I am so proud of you both. I
Welcome.
cannot believe what I'm seeing in the youth searching out the truth. So, hallelujah. I am so pleased to be here amongst you.
Welcome, Elder.
One of,
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
Uh, youngster Ron, have you read 2 Chronicles 28, 8 through 10?
Yeah,
No?
of course I read it. I mean, I got the Bible in my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you aware that the northern tribes, when they went into Assyria, the lying scribes penned that they were taken into captivity, but Father had put them amongst the Assyrians, which they made a covenant with the Assyrians and basically became the Assyrians. Just as they've been doing, Ephraim has mixed his seed and he became a multitude of nations. Most of those, even though they're 10 tribes, they are actually the smaller of you of the southern kingdom. Judah, the Pharisee line, like Shaul Paul, not an apostle. Proven in scripture. He met Apollo at Damascus. He never met the king. Mashiach Yahushua had already left. But more importantly, Father fulfilled the promises to Ishmael and Esau by allowing the northern house to enjoin with those Europeans, we call them today. They all know they got some black in them, but them niggas up there act like they ain't got no sense. Now, as for we of the southern kingdom, we are the Kodesh kingdom. Father did not beat our behinds because the southern kingdom, how should I say this? They went up into Europe and began profaning Father's name. Father's name is our very heartbeat. Listen to the heartbeat. It speaks. Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. And that is the 2160 primordial hertz that holds all the fabric of reality together in this matrix we call life. But that said, everywhere our elders went, they have built the Payawamids to honor Abba, Yahweh. They heal us, for they form a vortex of negative ions from the earth. And they're also built to honor Father, because when they form that formulation, it forms into the star Tetyawahedron, which is the 8-pointed star that we have, that they have sullied. The Northern Kingdom is sullied it and made it a 6-pointed star. These things are not the same. We know this because we look at things in 3D. The lily flower has the same geometry, as does the treasures of the snow, if you read the book of Job. Now, I've said all I need to say. I put a lot of posts together for you youngsters. I don't make videos because, quite frankly, I just don't like to do it. It ain't my thing. But I am so impressed with y'all, I'm going to have to send you a few dollars. That said, Yah Shalom Aleichem. And I love you all, and thank you for entertaining this old man for a few moments. I'll be sending you an email, Dinano. And you got to teach me that click language, young man. I love that.
Say this. Isixhosa. Let's start with the X's. Isixhosa. Try that.
Pulse.
Okay. At least you can say
Get
that. Iqaqa liyaziqika-qika kuqaqaqa. Iqaqa.
I love that, man. There's a young lady. She made this click song, man. It made the hairs on my neck stand up, man.
Igqirha
Yeah,
lendlela
I love that, boy. I love that. I love it. I
nguqongqothwane.
love it. Click, click.
Thank you, Elder
I got
Keith. We appreciate you.
yeah. Thank you for
Ron,
having me
is
on. Hey,
there
you young guys, keep
anything you
doing
want
that
to
good
say?
work, man.
Ray, is there anything you want to say? I don't know if Ron can
I
hear
think
me.
Ron
Ron, can you hear me?
went
Yeah, I
into the
mean,
zone.
now listen to what he said, but I'm still not getting what it has to do with the overall message of today's live. I mean, he said a lot of things, and some things I agree, some things I disagree, but you know, we have to stay on focus on what is happening in our reality, and we have to accept reality. Because things are happening in the continent of Africa. We cannot deny that the Russians and the Chinese and the Europeans and the Arabs and the East Indians and the Jews are infiltrating Africa. I mean, you can look at Kenya and the 500 acres that they bought in Kenya with the help of BlackRock in Kenya for an agricultural residential settlement. We already know they're in the Western Cape. We already know about the Eastern Cape thing that went down, which I was going to explain, but I didn't have time. But it's not a surprise that all these things are happening in sub-Saharan Africa. If we go through the whole chapter of Ezekiel 38, you could see clearly what's happening. Actually, I even have a slide that breaks down a particular verse in Hebrew on why everything that is broken down in the Hebrew version of Ezekiel 38 particular verse is proving exactly what they are doing is happening right now in
Ron,
our reality.
you're going to have
So
to
we need
talk
to
about
pay
what's
attention to wake up.
happening there. You're going to have to talk about what's happening in the Eastern Cape. I think you're struggling to hear me. So I don't know if you have a pair of headphones that you can use there. But I think I can
You-
almost assume what you want to talk about. concerning what's happening in the Eastern Cape, which is a state or a province in South Africa. I think it's important for you to cover it now. But let's say bye-bye to Elder Keith. Thank you, Elder G. Keith, for calling in. We're taking you out. Let's put in, Ron, you prepare yourself for this one. We bring in a very controversial brother, Tyrone. But because we are open-minded here, we'll bring Tyrone in. Tyrone, just be brief and straight to the point. Let's hear what you have to say. Stop spamming, Brother Tyrone. I always tell you, reach out to me. We will allow you in. This is your time. What do you have to say? Do you want to engage, Brother Ron?
Yes, I would love to.
Go
I would
ahead.
like to ask Ron, where do the Native Americans that was already here before anything talking about a slave trade, where do they sit? Because we know that this is the true holy land in America. And we got physical proof that we can take you to the biblical places, so on and so forth. How is it that he continued to push Africa? And when you got the Native Americans on the chart, why is it that
Brother Tyrone,
no,
either they're trying to silence you for the truth or they don't want to hear what you have to say because now your connection is just messing up and you're sounding like a robot. Let's give you another chance. Go ahead. You were asking about Native Americans. Yes. We can't hear you, brother. Tyrone, we can't hear you. Okay, Tyrone, we're taking you out because your network is struggling. We can hear you, but your connection is very bad. Nah, okay. We're taking you out, Brother Tyrone. Try to call on a better line, as they say on radio shows. But Ron, Tyrone has been around here preaching the same message over and over again that the promised land is in the U.S. And he's saying the Mississippi is one of the great rivers of the Bible.
No, that's a hard no, and I don't even want to waste time talking about why America is not the promised land.
Okay,
you just need to move on.
Let's go on then.
Else.
Cool. Yeah. You are saying you are going to speak about what's happening in the Eastern Cape. Please touch on that, Ron.
Well, I wanted to bring up a slide that pretty much lays out what's happening, but the Eastern Cape, they have some traditional leaders or chiefs or kings that were contacted by Israeli officials, and they came down. They booked a flight from Israel, came down to the Eastern Cape, met with the leaders, and then took them to Israel to show them all the technological advances that they had been able to solve in regards to water, agriculture, security, these different things. And they said to them, they said, look at all of this. Look at all this that we got going on here. Like almost like when Satan showed Christ on the mountain and said, look at all of this. You can have all of this. Just bow down before me. And so when they came back to the Eastern Cape, offering all this assistance in water and healthcare and agricultural, upgrades and technology, they appeared as though they didn't want any money, but they said in the article, we want you to be our friends and to have a relationship with us. And what that means is they want to gain an alliance and ties and influence the minds and people of Southern Africa to stand in solidarity with them, so that when they make a phone call, they say, hey, we did help you with your water, we helped you with your agricultural, we help you build schools, we help you with this and we help you with that. Can we get some land? Can we get some of that land you have? You got 1,000 acres of land. Can we get 500 or can we get 250? And then the kings are gonna say, yes, sure, brother. Come on down, get this land. And whether it's leased land or bought land, the Jews are befriending anybody they can in Africa to set up what they want, their interest. in Africa, which is at the expense of black people. So in many cases, it seems to be as aid and help and support, but in the end, it's a lopsided deal. And in the end, they are getting everything out of Africa to make themselves wealthy and to look out for themselves in our land, in the land that was promised to our ancestors. We're supposed to be using that land to what we're supposed to do with it according to the Bible. But all these other nations, like the Russians, the Chinese, the East Indians, the Pakistani, the Europeans, the Americans, they're having their way with sub-Saharan Africa. And nobody's saying anything about it. We're just letting it happen.
Oh, that one was quite interesting for me because, as you know, that's my home province, home state. When I saw that happening, it kind of awakened something in me and it got me wondering what's happening. Our land being sold for water. I hadn't even heard that we had issues with water in the Eastern Cape. But then again, I no longer live there. But I know there are water issues generally in the country. By the way, something that really intrigues me, we are told that in this country of ours, Ningizimu, or you might know it as South Africa, we get our water from a landlocked country, small country called Lesotho. So, which also always baffles me because we have a very long coastline from the side of KwaZulu to the other side, close to the Namibian border. So I don't know what's happening with water in this country. Is it prophetic, Ron?
Yeah, somebody in the comments said let Ron do the presentation. Can I just show three slides, Dinano, 3 slides.
Go ahead, Ron. Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
We've got someone, before you show those 3 slides, we've got a caller in. Let's allow the person that's calling to just engage you because we've opened the lines. Benjamin. How are you, brother? Where are you calling from?
Shabbat Shalom. I'm calling from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay. Engage, brother Ron.
Just going off. Nice to meet you, brother. Blessings to you all. Just going back to what the brother was saying about, I live here, and I've been following the understanding that America is Egypt. No, I don't want to take you off subject or whatever, but just one question: how there are no ships here? There are no ships to show, but they got ships that was before the slave trade. But there are no ships. And then even with the pictorials that we've seen for the ships, it's just like a head of cattle. I'm into trucking. If you pick up 100 cows, you're going to make sure all 100 cows make it there. It makes no sense to pick up 1,000 slaves and then only 300 make it. And not only that, I've seen the maritime ships where they carry the cargo containers. The water that we supposedly came across was literally engulfing whole cargo ship. It was coming over by the boatloads, which would have swallowed up those little rinky-dink ships. So outside of that, they only have records to show as far as the American slave trade, the so-called transatlantic slave trade. They literally only have records for 92,500, and only 5% of that came to the Americas. George Washington, no, I'm sorry. And that's pretty much it. This is the land. When you look at older maps, the Red Sea over in California, same thing with Memphis. How do we when Christopher Columbus came here, he had Hebrew speaking interpreters to speak to the natives of the land.
Okay, so what is your question, brother
brought
Benjamin? What's your question? Or are you commenting, or do you have a question for Ron?
Explain the people, the natives, the aboriginals that were the millions that were
No,
already here that were melanated.
this is not a question of debate. I mean, we've already been past this already. The white man got to America. How did he get to America? He didn't fly. He didn't swim. He came on a boat. It's a reality. So if he came to America on ships, then the white man could easily bring slaves to America on ships. We see the slave forts all across Africa. What are they
There's only
for? There's slave forts all across the West
there's only
Africa and Central
pictures of
Africa.
white people.
They brought slaves to the
There's
Americas. That's
only
done. We're done with that. Let's move on.
There's only real pictures of whites coming over. You don't have
Can I
any
get to the
slave ships
slides?
coming
Can I,
over with,
can I,
with
can I go to the
melanated
slides?
people.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
brother
sir. No
Benjamin.
pictures of
Thank you.
melanated slaves coming over.
Thank you, bro. Okay, Ron, finish off your slides.
All right. Can everybody see it? Did you load
Yeah.
it up?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ezekiel 38 warns of
Hold on, Ron.
a
Hold on,
mass.
Ron. The ordinal we see you will allow Ron to go for another 10 minutes and then we'll bring you in. If you want to stay on for that 10 minutes or you want to call back after 10 minutes, we will bring you back in. But we see you. Go on, Ron.
So Ezekiel 38 warns us of a mass immigration to the land of sub-Saharan Africa, which is the land of Canaan. So in the Bible, Ezekiel 38:6, it says Gomer, China, and all his bands, meaning all his people, in the house of Togarmah, the white Jews, the white Arabs of the north quarters, and all his bands, many people with thee. It says, like we said earlier, Bantu Israelites, be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be a guard unto them. After many days in the future, thou shalt be visited. In the latter years, thou, meaning these other nations, shall come into your land that is brought back from the sword, colonization, invasion, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have always been uncultivated or waste, but is brought forth of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, meaning the land of sub-Saharan Africa, thou and all thy bands, many people with thee. So here's what that means in the Hebrew, because this is it right here in Hebrew, Ezekiel 38:9. I've circled all of the Hebrew words that's in here. What does it mean? The Hebrew word Allah means that they're going to come to a higher sea elevation land. They're going to ascend up. They're going to come from the north, but they're going to come to a land that is a higher sea elevation land than their land. The word show means that they are going to come and ravage, destroy, cause severe and extensive damage, cut down trees, start mining and polluting the rivers and the lakes. The Hebrew word bo means to come, to enter in. The Hebrew word amnan is a cloud. The Hebrew word kasad means that these other nations, like the Chinese and the Russians and the Jews and the Arabs, they're going to come to Africa to flee, to hide, to take cover for protection, to take refuge, to spread all over. They're going to leave, the ones that are smart, they're going to leave Europe. They're going to leave America. They're going to leave Israel. They're going to leave the Middle Eastern countries. They're going to leave India. They're going to leave China. They're going to leave Russia and Ukraine. They're going to come to Africa. The Hebrew word agaf means crowds or hordes of people. They're going to come with many people. You're going to see them at the VFS immigration offices. You're going to see them trying to get their visas and their residence permits and their business permits and corporate visas and retirement visas. You're going to see this happening in your country. The Hebrew word rab means many, much, great, and the Hebrew word am means nations and peoples. So it's telling us that all these nations, the Europeans, the Canadians, the Americans, the Israelis, the Middle East Arab from Dubai and Saudi Arabia, North Africa, and Iraq, and Lebanon, and Palestine, they're going to come to Africa. Indians, Pakistani, Afghanistani people. I've seen them personally at the VFS office in Ravonia, a whole bunch of them. Pakistani, Afghanistani, Indians, Jews, Chinese is there. The Chinese are there too. Russians, they're all coming to Africa. You best believe it, it's happening right now in our reality, and it's not happening in Israel. This is the land that they're going to be setting up the last world war after they get done doing all this fighting that each other they're doing right now. They're going to turn their eyes and their interests, like the Most High says, I'm going to turn thee back and put hooks into your jaws and bring you upon the mountains of Israel. So after all this fighting and all this nonsense is happening in the world between all these countries and fighting each other, the Most High is going to turn them back, put hooks in their jaws, and bring them down to put their 100% focus on sub-Saharan Africa, where we are going to be their prey and they're going to be the predator.
Go on, Ron. I think you had said you want 3 slides and the people want you to go on and on and on. And they don't get the purpose of such a live stream. Such a live stream, I'm giving Ron this time because I disturbed him last week. I told him he'll come back. That's why we've given him time. But the purpose of live streams on this platform is that our guest engages you. I get time during a pre-recorded recording, but because Ron is a friend of the show, we managed to bring him in for a live stream because we know his doctrine. We know what he's all about. We allow him to come in, do his presentation during live streams. But it is not a seminar. It is not a workshop. It is not a sermon. It is a live stream on this platform. And we will allow people to call in to bring about their thoughts and their views. We see your comments. Some of you want Ron to go on and have a sermon. Ron, you ought to open a church, brother. People
You can
want you
let the
to go
ordinal
on and on. Yeah?
Is the ordinal, is he on? The ordinal? He had a question?
No, he went out, but he's probably going to call in. We see him. But we do have someone else that we're going to allow to come in. But we can't see you. King Rasta, we need to see you. We can't look at your roof if you are coming in. So show your face. Let us see you. We can't see you, brother. Just show your face. Okay, let's bring this brother in, Ron, and then we'll allow him to be brief. Let us know what you want to talk about. If you have a question or if you have a comment, go on. Brother Ron is here with you. The ordinal is back. We'll take
No,
you.
I wanted to join because I'm hearing that, they saying America is Egypt, but I feel like America is kind of like, you look at Babylon, Mystery Babylon, you look at Nebuchadnezzar back in the ancient Old, Testaments and times, and you look at how this has always been called, Babylon or Mystery Babylon. And so if you're looking at Ethiopia, we can start from Ethiopia, which is the original source, which is the original Indian, Black Indian, and you have Ethiopia, the Negus kingdom, the kingdom of Negus. Then you have that stretches all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. So you have the Mediterranean Sea, which is still an Indian Sea, but the Mediterranean Sea is stretching all the way to the Americas. So you have to start from the root, which is Africa, Southern Africa, with the kingdom of Judah, the kingdom of Israel, Beta Israel, which is Solomon's dynasty, Solomon's temple, the king, the eighth seal of David, the opening of the eighth seal. So this is a devotion, and this is a contractual thing within an oath within the Most High that He has given onto His chosen people, which is Beta Israel, of that specific people. So you have other nations, you have other people, that joined upon other people, which is true. But in America, yes, it's been slaves, or it's been people that have been shipped over here from different. You got Ghana, you got Nigeria, you got Congo, you got obviously Judah. Yes, that's been slave trades, but at the same time, we've been over here. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna talk about Solomon. Now, the king of Mali. I don't know if y'all can see me. The king of
We can see
Mali
you, brother, but
is
get to the point. Don't go on and on. We have other people waiting, right?
Yeah,
all right. The
I
prince
want to
of
share
Mali.
something.
Okay. What you gotta say? What you gotta say?
No, I want to share something, but go ahead and finish because I really want to share some things that are important because we're losing track of focus right now. We really are.
Okay. I was trying to say the king of Mali or the Prince of Mali went to Solomon and I don't know if y'all know what Mali is, like Somalia, went to Solomon and showed Solomon a land, like showed Solomon some waters, like, and he showed Solomon and it was Atlantis. So you have to understand Atlantis is also America. And you have to look up
Nah,
Thoth. You have to look up
we talking about Atlantis, the
all
King
these
of Mali, King Solomon. This what is this? What are we talking about here? The King of Solomon, King of Mali, Atlantis.
it's a connection with the Americans. It's a connection with the Americans. That's why I'm saying that. Because it's
Okay.
generations, it's leading
Okay.
generations
You know
ahead
what
for
we
us.
need to do, Brother Rasta? You know what we need to do? We've been telling Tyrone to come on. And guys, I want you to take what I'm going to say seriously here. I've always maintained if you are here thinking this is a Hebrew Israelite platform, you are completely wrong. This is a platform for Bible believers. If you believe the Bible and you think you've got a revelation or an understanding of the Bible that may be unconventional, you can come on. Send us an email, reach out, we give you time, we engage you. If the people want to engage you, we will bring you back and they will engage you. But now you can't come in, you can't come in and say something that is not in line with what is being spoken about today. Let us bring in the cardinal. Let us bring in the cardinal, and then we'll bring you in wisdom after the cardinal. Cardinal, welcome. What do you have to say, brother? Oh, sorry, the ordinal. I'm sorry about that. Welcome, brother.
Come on, Dinano, get it right, man.
Sorry.
No, Dinano, peace to Elder Ron. Thank you, Ron, for, taking your time and, to educate us. And I want to say this thing because I'm sitting here, I'm listening to this, and it actually gives me a headache because, Black people, for some reason, number one, we can't stick to a subject. And it seems like people come on here just to be antagonistic, and they're not interested in education or learning. They want to come in here, they're like children almost, no disrespect, but I feel like Negroes are like children because they want to come on here, they want to talk, they want to be seen, they want to be heard, like children begging for attention.
Brother
And
Ordinal,
here it is,
you are
we have this man.
offending a whole race. Just
I
watch your
understand.
language now.
But listen, Donato, if you knew me, you would know what I'm saying. I'm saying out of sincerity because it's actually giving me a headache. Now, Elder Ron has done the due diligence and the due work, so much so that renowned people have tweeted his work. Nobody in this room is getting the attention of the Jews and, the dark hand like the way Elder Ron is. Nobody in this room. Nobody. Nobody is getting shadow banned. Nobody is getting, their bank account shut down. Nobody is getting any of that stuff happening. And the reason because is this man actually has something. That's the problem. The problem, he actually has something that they don't want us to know. So if we can, for one moment, Black people, if we can for one moment just stop being ignorant and divisive and stupid and foolish and immature for one moment and just listen to what the man is saying. Because if he was wrong, the Jews wouldn't be after him, the governments wouldn't be after him, South Africa wouldn't be trying to ban him, he wouldn't be such a threat. And so all you Negroes that got ego issues and you want to be seen, build a YouTube channel, talk about your rhetoric, and we'll go over there and we'll check out what you have to say. But right now, this is our leader. Ron, I'll be honest with you. Ron Dalton is the closest thing we actually have as an Israelite leader. He's not one of these campers who's looking for attention and no, he's invested his time and his money. He's left his career. He's saying, hey, maybe we need to relocate to Africa because X, Y, and Z. And he's practicing what he preaches. So I think that deserves some kind of honor and respect. And the problem, the reason why we can't get anywhere is we don't honor and respect our leaders. We don't revere the people who are putting in the work. We're all armchair quarterbacks. We're all Monday morning quarterbacks. Nobody here is being sought after because obviously we don't have what this man has. So listen to what the man. A lot of people are saying, okay, so what do we do? This man actually has a plan. If you listen, and somebody said he's being dismissive. This man has H2N TV that you can go check out and get all the education you need. Because it becomes redundant if he has to keep re-educating everybody every moment of the day. He's been telling you where his platform is. Get on there and check it out. There's books, there's movies. You can get all the education you need. This is very simple, black people. Stop shooting down the leaders that Yahuwah has sent us. We did the same thing to the prophets. And this whole nonsense about, America, and it's all nonsense, okay? It's all nonsense. And it's nothing more than a distraction to keep you here because they know this place is going down.
Thank you, brother.
They know
Thank
it.
you. Thank
So
you.
that's all I have to say. Thank you, Dinano, for having me on. I apologize for being a little bit.
A
But,
lot of people
thank you,
agree
Elderon,
with you. A lot
definitely
of
want to
people
see you.
agree with you, but I'm very sensitive to language that seemingly generalizes and paints everyone with the same brush. But I get what you're saying. Thank you. And we also appreciate your support on the channel. Thank you very much, Ordinal. Let's bring in Wisdom, and then we'll allow you, Ron, to continue with your presentation. Wisdom, keep it short. Welcome, brother. Good to see you again. Go on.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dinano. I hope you can hear me, please.
We can hear you, brother. Go on.
Right. Brother Ron, Shabbat Shalom to you again, and thank you for the message you are giving us. As I've said already, you've been somebody who an eye opener to me. Right. Straight to the point. I am trying to merge everything that you are saying and then everything that is happening on the channel. Something nights with Dinano. And a while ago, our brother, who is, I think, Joshua, brother Dinano, if you can remember me, Joshua, is it Gentua or something like that?
What were they saying, brother?
Kidwa, all right, Kidwa Joshua, right?
Kidao, Joseph.
Yeah, right, Joseph.
Kilua.
Kilua, right. So what he was saying is about the two lands of Canaan, right? He was giving the narrative of the two lands of Canaan. And I by the help of the Spirit, I remember that the word of God says that, or the word of Yahuwah says that Canaan was cursed because of his father Ham, right? And for the curse to come to pass, he has to go and dwell in Canaan had to forfeit his original land to go and dwell in the land of Shem, right? And in doing that, Shem, or the Shemites, who are the Israelites, must also, fulfill the promise of Yahuwah by going to what? To make the Canaanites slaves, right? Even if we take these two stories to place, let's look at it. They went to take the Canaanites as slaves, right? And then after taking them as slaves, they also sinned. The Israelites also sinned. And the Lord took them out of the land. Where did they go to? The original land of Canaan, which is Central Southwest Africa. That is what Brother Dalton has been sounding all the horn all this time, right? Even so, what I'm sitting back to do is to join all the stories that are coming together and looking at the central part. So what Brother Dalton is saying is, the Bible says that the Lord does not do anything unless He reveals to His sons, the prophet. So the prophets have come. Always, Israel always shoots them down. As our brother who left right now was saying, always will shoot them down. Instead of them to listen. Now, their view on whatever or their part of the story, instead of them taking it and then showing it as a mirror and reflecting the two stories, if they merge at a point, that unity, that national agenda that I've always been saying, so that they will know where the truth is. Instead of doing that, they try to shoot down many other people.
Okay.
Dalton,
Brother Wisdom,
God bless
thank you. We hear you. Let us listen to Brother Ron now. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's acknowledge the super chats that we are getting. We have a question from Nico Wilson 2212. Brother Ron, I am also a bit of Bantu Congolese, etc. through both parents' sides. Doesn't that make me and my family also Hebrew? We'll answer that just now, Ron. Let's also acknowledge this super chat from Andrew 1371000. Thank you, brother Andrew. We see you. We appreciate you. Yes, give Ron the respect. He's done the work. So he's affirming what wisdom is saying and what the ordinal has also said. This is why we must study the language. If we truly think that the land is in America, then we have a lot of research to do. Let's allow Brother Ron to finish his presentation. Go on, Brother Ron. Thank you for every
Yep.
super chat and every super sticker. Ron?
So so in Jubilees 8, 9, and 10, God gave Ham the land of the south, which was Africa. And before God and the angels and Noah and his sons, Canaan chose his land, and they cast the lots. And they saw that everybody's land was good, and they accepted it at that time. In the book of Jubilees, it says that Canaan didn't like his land, even though he chose his lot. Put chose his lot, Mitzrayim chose his lot, Cush chose his lot. Canaan said, I don't like this land that God gave me, that we all cast the lots for. But God said in the Bible that I'm going to give you the land of Canaan, not the stolen land, not the land that Canaan supposedly stole. He gave the Israelites the land of Canaan, not the land that Canaan wanted and he stole supposedly. We have to look at the fact that the DNA of the Pygmies and the Khoisan is in us, but on the maternal side, on the mother side, but it's nowhere found in Israel. Nowhere. Neither is our DNA, E1B1A, E1B1A7, E1B1A8, and the people we've mixed with. It's not found in modern day or ancient Israel DNA skeletons of the fossils. It's not there. We were never there. That's not the Holy Land. So let me go to the slides, and I don't know how much time I got because I don't want to start something that I can't finish. But
Go
I
on,
want to
Brother Ron.
show.
Go on, Brother Ron. We are at 2 hours, 11 minutes. We want to end it at 2 hours, 30 minutes. You've got about 19 minutes.
Okay, 19 minutes. All right. So just to give some context, this guy right here, him and his wife went into the Congo, and they studied the language of the Bakongos, and he learned to be fluent in the Congo. And you'll see let me see if I can find it. If I have it. Anyway, I'm not going to waste time on that. Okay, so when you look at the Hebrew word for pagan foreigners, it's goy. In the Kikongo, it's ngoy. The N is silent, so it's really goy, or G-O-I-G-O-Y. The word name in Hebrew is Shem, uses the consonants S and M. In the Kikongo, it's Suma. The consonants S and M is still preserved. In the Hebrew, the word Kam is hot, K-H-A-W-M. In the Kikongo, it's Kwama. The consonants K-A-M is preserved. To enlarge, to open, to make roomy, the Hebrew word is Patah, P-A-T-A. In the Kikongo, is Pata. The consonants P and T is preserved, and the vowel A. The word dark in Hebrew is Kush. In Kikongo is Kosi or Kusi, and the consonants K and S is preserved. Even with a letter switch from S to Z, you can still see the similarities. The word hairy in Hebrew is Esau. In Kikongo, it's Nsavu. The N is silent, so you have S-A-V-U, just as the Hebrew has the consonants and vowels S-A-V. The word water in Hebrew is Ma'i. Plural is Ma'in. In the Kikongo, it's Ma'i. The word son in Hebrew is Ben. In Kikongo, it's Bena. The Bena, Ben. To have children, to bear seed. In the Hebrew, is Bana. In the Kikongo, it's Bana. The heir, the paternal sons in Hebrew is Bar, in Kikongo is Ba. The word reddish in Hebrew is Adamdam or ADMDM, Hebrew Strong's 125. Kikongo, the repetition ND or Ndu means reddish. The consonants D or N and D is still in there. In the Bible, God said that there were waters above and waters below. God made the heavens or the firmament. He separated the waters from below and above. And so it was. In the 6th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 7th day of the month, the fountains of the deep on the ground were opened up, and the windows of heaven opened. So water from below and water from above poured down and flooded the earth. After the flood ended, the fountains of the deep, meaning under the earth, stopped, and the windows of heaven stopped pouring out water, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and of course the flood ceased. The Kikongo word in the Hebrew, Mayim and Shamayim, are the heavens and the waters. The Kikongo word Nza is for universe or heaven. The Kikongo word Nza also means water. The Kikongo word Nya or Nya is similar to God, just like Nzambe, Niyambe means God. And the word Azania is based off the Kikongo word Azanya, Niyambe, Niyambe, Nzambe. Lake Nyanza is basically in the Bantu word, the water of the gods, or God water, because Nza means water, and Nia is connected to God, like Niyambe, Niyambe, Nzambe, Nzambi. So we see in the Bantu Kikongo language the similarities. When the Jews found out that there were 12 or 14 out of 22 ancient Proto-Sinaitic Hebrew pictographs inside the caves of the Congo in the Lovo Massif, they immediately sent their Jewish anthropologists and historians and rabbis into the Congo to investigate. Now, in the Kikongo, the word for Israel is Isolole. And in the Kikongo, it means the chosen ones, or I have chose Jacob, which is what happened when Jacob wrestled with the angel, and the angel touched his thigh. He let go. He said, let me bless him. And after that, the covenant that was given to Abraham was also bestowed upon Jacob and his descendants. We know that the Kikongo language existed before the white man came into Africa, and the Jews did not colonize the DRC. It was the Belgium. So why is it that the Kikongo language has so many? And I can keep going on and on and on. But we have to understand that, because I don't have time to go through all of these, but we have to understand that the Hebrew, modern Hebrew, is derived from the ancient Bantu languages. And you can see this being shown in examples in Swahili, Eastern Bantu languages, Central African Bantu languages like Kikongo and Lingala. You will see the exact similar correlation between Hebrew and Kikongo, such as the word to be toughened or to be strong. In the Hebrew, it's Kazakh. In Kikongo is Kazuka. The consonants K, S, and K is preserved. To do peace or be peaceable in the Hebrew is Shalem or Salem. In Kikongo is Salembe. Salembe. The likeness or form of resembling a man. Like when God made man in his image and likeness, the Hebrew word is demuth. In the Bantu, it's muntu, or muntu, depending on you use a H or not. The Hebrew word for thanks or thanksgiving in Hebrew is todah. In Kikongo, it's toda or tando. The word for flood in Hebrew is mabu. In Kikongo is mbula. The word for spring water is mabua. In Kikongo is mbu. The word for dryness, parched, drought, hot desert in Hebrew is tizia. In Kikongo, it's tia. In the word for land or country is Eretz in Hebrew, with the consonants T and S on the end. In Kikongo, it's Tzi or Nsi. When you look at, oh, this is a good one right here. Here we go. The word Moab is a combination of Mo and Ab, or Abba, father. It means from my father, of my father, because Moab and Ammon were the children of Lot and his daughter. So Lot's daughter had sex with her father and then had Moab and Ammon. So Moab was from his father. Moab was a childbirth from Lot's daughters having sex with their father. So the Kikongo word mu or mo is from or of. So when you say mu Congo, you mean from or of the Congo. And so when you look at many things like to laugh, to joke, in Hebrew it's tsakak. In Kikongo it's tsaka. Isaac, the Hebrew word is yitzhak. In Kikongo it's yitzhaka. To be small, to curse, to bring dishonor. Hebrew is kalal. In Kikongo is kulula. The consonants K, L, L, or Q, L, L is preserved. The word for place in Hebrew is makum. In Kikongo is kuma. The word to attack in Hebrew is paga. In Kikongo is mpunga. The word for large or great in Hebrew is sagi. In Kikongo is nzangi. When you look at the word to be weak or to be feeble or faint, in Hebrew is pug. In Kikongo is puka. To wander, to move around, to move back and forth like a fugitive in Hebrew is nuwa or nuwa. In the Kikongo, it's nuwa or nua. This is Kikongo. This is the Kikongo language. To swim or to float in Hebrew is saka. In Kikongo is suka. Sharp in Hebrew is kad. In Kikongo is kada. Confinement, restraint in Hebrew is kili. In the Kikongo is kili. To cover yourself in Hebrew is lawat. In Kikongo it's luata. To address in a loud tone, to shout in Hebrew is shabak. In Kikongo is sambuka. And when you look at Shekinah, y'all ever heard of Shekinah glory? Okay, so in the Bible, to shine bright, to radiate in Hebrew is Shekinah or God's glory. In Kikongo, it's Sikana. Sikana in Kikongo means to shine bright, to shine. Now, how is that significant to the Bible? Because the same cloud that rested over the Ark of the Covenant signified God's presence when the tabernacle was constructed in the desert. It says in Exodus 40:34, then the cloud covered the tabernacle of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Leviticus 16:2 says, I will appear in the cloud above the mercy seat of the ark. The glory of the Lord, the Shekinah, also appeared above the Ark of the Covenant in the most holy place in the sanctuary, and later in Solomon's temple. When the ark was captured by enemy forces in the time of Samuel, the event was called Ichabod, meaning no glory. During the time when the Israelites were taken captive by the Babylonians, the prophet Ezekiel recorded that originally the house was filled with the cloud and the court was full of brightness of the Lord's glory. But then the glory of the Lord departed from the threshold of the temple. So when the word Kikongo Sikina means to shine bright or to shine, it signifies God's glory, which in the Hebrew is Shekinah. Now, because we don't have the time to show all these things that I have, let me go on to the last thing I wanted to say. Though in the Kikongo dictionary, the word for Hebrew in Kikongo is Ibri. And the language and customs of the Hebrews is Kiibri. This is in the Kikongo dictionary. And when you look at the word for the word Canaan or Khan or Canaan, you'll see that the word Canaan is derived from the Bantu word that has to do with a curse. It has to do with somebody that's small or little or diminutive. And it also gives an explanation of a person that is made inferior or made low or to be humbled or to be put under subjection or servitude, which was all parts of the characteristics of the curse of Canaan. And you see that in the Congo dictionary, the word kandu means to interdict or pronounce a curse on someone. The word kanama, like kanan, kanama means to determine evil against someone, to hate them fiercely. The word kanamwa means to be the subject of the most determined negative resolution of such as in a curse made against somebody. And you see here, because you might think, well, Ron's making this up, in the Kikongo English Dictionary that Reverend W.H. Bentley in 1894 learned the Kikongo language and put together this lexicon. The word Kiyibri in the Kikongo is the language and customs of the Hebrews, which is the word that they use in Kikongo, and the word Ibri in Hebrew means the Hebrews. So when you look at what's happening in Africa, we see that this is the land of the Hebrews, sub-Saharan Africa, from the Congo Basin, Beni Congo, Niger Congo area. All these areas are full with Israelites, and it's no coincidence that these other nations, like the Chinese, who are the children of Gomer, the Chinese, the friends that I have that are Chinese, that are speakers of Mandarin and Cantonese, even the Koreans, they have people in their country that are Christians, and in their Bibles, in their language, their ancestry before Buddhism and Maoism connects back to the children of Japhet and his son Gomer. And they will tell you this. I've been told in my face that the Chinese are the descendants of Gomer. The Koreans say the same thing because Korea is attached to China. North Korea, South Korea is attached to China. They all say that they are the children of Gomer. The Bible tells us that that in Ezekiel 38, the children of Gomer are going to come with many people with them, and they're going to come for the purpose of spoiling and plundering the land of its resources and whatever else is on it that they can get for themselves.
Hello. Are you aware there is an ongoing war between China and Nigeria? A silent war. Let me break it down for you. Chinese are buying up Nigerian lands. Chinese are technically and tactically buying up our ancestral land, and nobody is talking about it. Nobody talks about it. Everybody is comfortable. It's not a comfortable thing. It's a very serious situation. How can we all be looking and Chinese are taking over Nigeria? This is a new colonizer. They are coming in. They are taking over Nigeria, and everybody is keeping quiet. If you come to Lagos, Chinese are buying up everywhere. If you go to Ogun State, Chinese are buying up everywhere. And the governors are giving them CFO with regulars at ballot. The governors will take over land from families, from communities on the assumption of overriding public interest. And the same governors will sell the same land to Chinese. Give them CFO. Gradually, Chinese are taking over Nigeria. They are gradually taking over everything that we have. And we don't know what is happening. This is another form of colonization. This is a new era colonization, a modern day colonization. Everybody should rise up. Rise up. That's your ancestral land in your village. That land that you bought. That acres of land that your community has. Come. Let us formalize it. Let us get title to it before the governors will sell the land to Chinese. It's a very big war. They want to use this to colonize us. They want to colonize us, and there is nothing we can do. This time around, the colonizers will live with us. Please, rise up, join, secure your.
Lastly,
kuma in kuka kalli can gari ne ga masallaci ga al'umma ga filin kwallo can wasu ma suna kwalle zaka nan gefe na ga gidajen mai ana yi wannan gari yana karaman hukumar Kubau ne a Ancau kenan hanyar Ancau so yau tsawon kwanaki 12 al'umman garin nan suka waye gari suka wasu fararen fata wasu
okay, so basically Dinano, the Chinese are in South Africa. We know this. I mean, I see them all the time in VFS in Ravonia. They're out and about, and the realtors in South Africa, they know that the Chinese are buying up large hectares of land for commercial, residential, agricultural purposes. This is a fact. It's not only in South Africa. It's in Botswana. It's in Nigeria. It's in Congo. It's in Kenya. It's in Tanzania. It's in Angola. It's everywhere. It's in Ghana. It's everywhere. The Chinese are the children of Gomer. This is in Ezekiel 38. This is not happening in Israel. The Chinese, the East Indians, the Arabs, the Europeans, the Jews, all these nations that we see here, the Pakistani, they are not they're not all together in alliance to start plundering and stealing land and resources in Israel, because Israel doesn't have anything to steal. It's a little piece of a desert. So we have to start looking at reality and understanding that today, in our time that we're living in right now, we are seeing a new colonization scramble for Africa. Before, they took the land by force and land grabs, but this time they are using coercion. They're using all types of tactics to get the land, whether it's leased land or title deed land. So they don't care if it's customary land, traditional land, trust land by the tribal leaders and the traditional leaders and kings and chiefs. They don't care. They'll take that too, 100 years. Or they'll just buy the land. We see this happening in our reality. We are the Israelites. We're living in the land of Canaan. The Bible tells us to prepare and be on guard. However, we can't be on guard and prepare for anything if we don't know who we are in the land we're actually we're standing on. And it says this already. It says in Ezekiel 38, they're going to come and take silver and gold, a great spoil. A great spoil, not a spoil, a great spoil. They're going to take all the silver and gold and platinum, uranium, cobalt, coltan, copper, iron, diamonds. They're going to take all of this out of Africa. This is the reason why Zimbabwe and Zambia rejected the health deal, because they saw that attached to the health deal was minerals. And they said, we can't let you guys take this lopsided deal. So, because we want to have technology and healthcare advances in our country at the expense, you guys are going to just pillage all the minerals out of our land and jeopardize our economic sovereignty. That's why Zambia and Zimbabwe said, no, sir, we cannot let you do this, because they've already done enough. They've already taken enough out of Africa, and they're not finished. That's the thing. After these wars in the Middle East and in Israel, Ukraine, and Russia, United States of America, and Europe's collapsing, they need to have resources to survive, to sustain their ethnic group and people. You got to look at India's water, surface water is polluted with feces. It's polluted. It's toxic. You can't drink it. China needs agriculture. China needs food. China needs minerals. Russia also is going through a lot of things right now. Everybody needs something from Africa. And they know that the sustainability of their race, of their ethnic group, is going to continue in the continent of Africa. Why? Because Africa is like the Garden of Eden. And what do you have in Africa? A young population that keeps growing exponentially. So they understand that bodies that are young are ready to work. They're ready to work and to labor. And these people that's going to labor in Africa, they're also going to be the consumers. So you are that's the win of any business model. Any business model that works, you got to have consumers and you got to have cheap labor. And they see that in Africa. And in addition to that, they have the raw materials to make a finished product. They can finish the product because they have the refineries. They know how to take the gold out of the ground and then send it to the UAE for minting and for refinery, so that they can sell that gold and silver and whatever else they got out of the ground on the world market and convert that to digital millions and billions of dollars in their bank account, which then they take back to Africa and say, we took all this minerals on your ground and now we have $1 billion in our bank account. Can we get 1,000 hectares of land with this billions of dollars? And you're looking like, wait a minute. These guys got $1 billion. They took the money out of our backyard. It's just a piece of metal. They took it, they converted it to $1 billion. Then they come back to Africa and say, hey, I want to buy 1,000 acres of land over there for agricultural residential purposes. Can I have it? Who's going to turn down $1 billion in Africa? Who's going to do that? The chiefs and the kings and the traditional leaders, they want to see their land do something. They want to see development. They need certain things, and it costs money to have these things. And so when all these nations come and we don't have the education to know that we are the Israelites, God gave us this land. It's not supposed to be given to the Gentiles, but we're doing it anyway because we don't know that this is the land of Canaan. We are the Israelites. This is the land that God promised to us as a perpetual covenant. Then that's why you're gonna see all these things continuously happen, because we're not educated. Nobody's educating the people that are in leadership in the Christian church, the pastors, the grassroots organizations, all these different tribes that are different areas. We got to be educated, because these other nations, they're going to take over. Because at the end of the day, what's happening right now, like I keep saying all the time, we are cooked. We're cooked. We're done. We're finished. Finito. America is done. Europe is done. And we don't wake up now, Africa is done. And the future for our children that are 29, 30, Generation Zs, they're gonna grow up in a Africa that the Gentiles control the monopoly of everything, like the board game Monopoly. When you have all the little pieces, the houses, and all the board. Listen, when you play Monopoly and you get on somebody's board and they got all these houses, you got to pay them. When you play the game Monopoly and you land on Dinano's space and he has all these houses, that means you got to pay Dinano. And when you run out of money in the Monopoly game, you lose. You lose the game. So this is what's happening in Africa. They're setting up all the monopolies on every different piece of square on the Monopoly board. And African people, the youth, they're going to constantly be like, wait a minute, we're cheap labor, we're suffering. They own everything. Like in South Africa, when we try to put out movies, if it goes against the narrative, they're going to ban it. They're going to make it illegal, make you go to jail for it. But things like Savage Beauty and Blood and Water and all this other stuff, yeah, that's okay for you guys to watch. That's okay with that. So this is the thing, Dinano. We have to get this understanding of who we are, our identity, and with that comes, where is our promised land? And the promised land is what we're standing on, and the Gentiles want this land. They're fighting in an area that they don't care about. They don't care if they bomb Dubai, they bomb Saudi Arabia, they bomb Iran, they bomb Israel, they bomb Lebanon, they bomb Palestine. They don't care, because they got their bread basket in Africa. They got the Garden of Eden where they can go shopping and make all this money in Africa.
Here's what I'm picking up, Ron.
Unless we rise up, they're not going to be threatened, and they're afraid of us getting this knowledge like today on YouTube and spreading it worldwide.
Yo, here's what I'm getting, Ron. To me, it sounds like you're saying this is the scramble for Africa part 2. If part 1 was that then scramble for Africa during the Berlin Conference in the late 1800s. Is this now scramble for Africa prophetic? If that is the case, what are the scriptures advising us to do? Or is it just our fate? We must take it and sit back and say, hey, it was prophesied.
Yeah, so the scripture tells us that it says that those that were scattered to the four corners, that he's going to bring us back to our land. So the diaspora are going to come back. The two sticks of the house of Israel, house of Judah are going to become one. And these dry bones that were without hope, they were withered, they were divided, cut off from their parts. It says that these divided, cut off, dry bones that are withered and hopeless, that there is hope, but it only is going to come with unification, and it only comes when we start to use the land that we have for the purpose of surviving this beast system of control that's coming. The Department of Home Affairs is already talking about a digital ID. The Botswana president the other day, or like a couple of days ago, he was talking about a digital ID, the president of Botswana. So if they're already talking about this digital ID in the Department of Home Affairs in Botswana, that means that it's coming, and they're going to control everything. So when you have no money to go to Woolworths and Pick and Pay and Spar and Checkers and ShopRite or Choppies, you're not eating any food unless you go to a village market, and of course the people at the village market, you can't tell them, hey, I got a cell phone. Can I get some food? Hey, I got this. Can I get some food? You can't say, well, I got some bananas. Can I get some food from you? They're gonna be like, no, I want cash. You can't tell them you can't say, well, I got some shoes that are pretty brand new. Can I give you my shoes off my feet and you give me some potatoes and some onions and some peppers? They're gonna say, no, I want cash. So we are in their system. When colonization started, they brought money systems. They brought the 9 to 5 slave work week that I showed earlier. They brought these systems of control. So the Bible tells us that we have to start going back to the ancient path. The ancient path is using all this good land that God gave us, this land of milk and honey, to work for us in our favor. The Gentiles know that this land can work in their favor and in their favor for money and for eating and for housing and clean energy like hydroelectric, solar energy. They know how to harness all these things because they have the technology to do it. But us black people, we look at a river, we look at a dam, we look at a waterfall, and we may not equate that to free energy like electricity. We look at the sunlight that comes on at 6 a.m. and it sets at 6 o'clock p.m. as solar energy. We look at all this good land and say, we can eat off this land. We can have chickens and cows and sheep and goats. We can have fruit trees for every fruit that you can eat. We don't. Why are we enslaved to this 9 to 5 system? Why do our kids have to worry about getting a job in South Africa when the majority of the people they see around them is unemployed, and they're working retail labor jobs or housemaids, or they're doing Uber. So we have to understand that these things are systems of control, and we have to snap out of it because the Bible tells us the only way we're gonna survive this thing and not be obeying the beast and submitting to the beast is if we take advantage of our land. And this is the last thing, Dinano. Let me just show this one last slide. It's gonna hit home. One last slide. Hold on, guys. One last slide, because this is important. Because if you don't believe me when I say it, you'll believe when they say it. So hold on.
As
Here
you
it
look
goes right
for
here.
that slide, Ron, let's just acknowledge the super chats that keep coming in. Deep Ricey, they are quoting Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am Yahuwah. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Here's another one, a $10 super chat, which is just a Shabbat Shalom message. Keep doing the work for the kingdom. Thank you very much, Debbie, loving yes, Israel. And then here's a $20 super chat from Kimberly Moore. Thank you, Kimberly. We see you. Thank you for your monthly contributions as a channel member. If you want to do the same, go to the description of this video. You will find the join channel or join membership button. You can click that and you can support this ministry on a monthly basis. Truly appreciate all of you. Blessings, my brothers. What is the plan, Brother Ron, for the gathering from the four corners of the earth? Do you own the land in picture you showed at the beginning of the presentation? Do you have a financial group? This is a critical question, Ron. Before you go to that slide, answer this one, please.
Yes, there's a lot of land deals on the table right now. In South Africa, in Uganda, in Angola, in Ghana, they're on the table. But we can't sit here and get land and then say, okay, we got the land, now what? It's going to sit there and be at rest, or we're going to develop the land. To develop the land, we need all hands on deck, and we need money. We need money. You cannot just click your fingers and a JoJo tank appears. You cannot click your fingers and a borehole appears. You cannot click your fingers and then a farm appears. You cannot click your fingers and you got all these chickens and goats and lambs and sheep and cows. You cannot click your fingers, you got solar panels. You cannot click your fingers, you got houses built up. You cannot click your fingers and then you got roads. You can't do this. You have to have all hands on deck, and until we, as of right now, we have to use money to develop these things that we need in terms of materials in labor. But Dinano, how much time we got? 5 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 10 minutes?
Ron, I sent you a message on WhatsApp and asked you how much time do you need. Let's add
Okay.
another 16 minutes. We'll end it at 3
All right,
hours
let's go.
exactly.
This is the closer. This is the closer. Guys, pay attention. Pay attention.
Is that we are Bantu people. Bantu people. We originate from the Congo. It was not by default. It was not by mistake. For them to go to Congo or to go to Angola, because according to the demarcation, according to the border of our forefathers, before Berlin Conference, Angola was part of the Congo. Zambia was part of the Congo. Zimbabwe was part of the Congo. You go to Gabon, you go to Cameroon, you go to up in Ivory Coast, it's part of Congo. We had the Baza Congo, you know, we had only one kingdom in the continent. Everybody paid allegiance to it. Was in the Congo. So everything started. The Bantu migration and or the Bantu people came from the Congo. You can say you are better off because we are being brainwashed. You are being made black British or black French or whatever you want to call yourself. But the fact remains is that you are a person who comes from the Congo. You like it or not. And I'm emphasizing that. You can have more money because you have sold your soul, but you come from the Congo, you like it or not. That's where we come from, all of us, as the Bantu. So as we're migrating down, because we were looking for food, we're looking for greener pastures, we were hunting. That's why you can find the people that are being named today as the Khoi and the Sens. There you find them in the Congo, you find them in Rwanda, you find them in Tanzania. Now, our art, as today it has been perceived that people who do or who write in the caves are the Khoisans. It's not true. That is the art of the Africans by showing animals, but it is a culture that has been well entrenched in the Bantu people. It's our culture. It's not the Khoisan culture. Khoisan is just a small, minute. It's a clan. But we are the majority of this continent. We are the owners of this continent. And all of us, we knew that we pay allegiance to one kingdom in the Congo. The white men came and divided the whole continent into themselves. They had a meeting, the Bismarck. They had a meeting where they decided to say it's a Berlin conference, where they said that portion will belong to who, that portion will belong to who. They destroyed our cultures. Today we think we are white. We think we are better than the other Africans. Look at Israel today. How far is it from Africa, Israel? Who are the original Hebrews? I'm trying to put facts on the table. We are the direct descent. We are the Hebrews. They always say the Hebrews, they come from Ethiopia. They don't want to say because they will give us credits, because they don't want to say they come from Congo. When you fast for 7 days without eating, what is that you see? Immediately we have a connection with God. Why? Ask anybody to do it. They'll never. But because what we have done is that we have lost it. Embrace something that we don't know. Now, what we need to do is to go back to the basics and know who is God and know how do you relate with God. Then you would understand how important you are in this world.
Why? Because we also in South Africa, we the black people, we know Maui or Mawela. the one who crosses the ocean. He was a real man. He went away to the land of the sunrise and never came back. From that conversation and how that brought us back into the ancient connections between Hawaiian people and African people, Credo Mutwa produced this incredible necklace, which must have weighed close to 20 pounds. And it had really strange, interesting beads. And the beads were rocks the size of a man's fist, a fistful of rock. And he asked, did anyone at the table know what this meant? Could anyone decipher the information that was encoded on the rock? So I tried to make myself humble. I knew I didn't know what was on those rocks. And the necklace passed from person to person. And then just before it got to Auntie Poi Poi, I saw her hands start to tremble like this, both of them. And I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be good. Whatever is going to be happening, I really want to hear. Ay tapito, ay tapoto, ay tara. In other words, I said the heart. It is the pico or the center of the universe of the woman. Yes, ma'am. This is the top of the head of all things that is to come. The leaf of life will bring forth many in different stages. And then the sun will shine. The sun that had taken Africa's people away, the boat, like cattle, slave. The fruit of the land has been barren. And then the coming back of the children. Again the sea shall arrive, and the fishes shall be like the silver fishes of knowledge, shall come back, and no war shall ever be again. This is what the sundial is telling. Yes, ma'am. It will open up the whole world. The center of the eye says that within the 2012, the year of the opening. Let me grab 10, 2, 3. This is a lady from New Zealand who's reading this. Mm-hmm. And she's reading it exactly as Aunt Maya. And the tribes will again dwell. And the main two important tribes that belong to this land will again survive in the ancestral lands again. Credo Mutwa told Auntie that many wise men in his tribe had tried to learn from him how to read this necklace of mysteries, but they weren't able to. I wish all of you, really wish that there had been other Sangomas besides Virginia who hear this. Here is a woman from New Zealand, from Hawaii, who has never seen this thing, but she is reading it, and I swear before God, exactly as I was taught. The Congo people called Africa Congo Kachopa, the cradle of Kimuntu, birthplace of Bantu. One of the first geographical locations mentioned in the Bible, in conjunction with the river Gihon, is the land of Cush. Gihon is the Nile River that flows down from South Africa and merges with the Congo River at the foothills of the Mountains of the Moon and drops into the Mediterranean Sea. Cush is the Hebrew equivalent of the Greek Ethiopia, defined as black or black face, the land occupied by the descendants of Cush, located around the southern parts of the Nile. Cush is also a name of Israelites. We are not talking about Abyssinia, present-day Ethiopia, but of ancient Ethiopia, which we call Congo Katiopa. Kati means center, middle, navel.
Sorry, hold on. He said the number of Satan. Okay, let me hold on, guys. There we go. Hold on.
So Katiopa is the navel of the world. On this map of 1588, we find in the heart of Congo, Katiopa, something you wouldn't expect. Check this out. As we zoom in, we find written in Latin, Iuderum Terra. When we put this into Google Translate, we get land of the Jews. In the heart of Africa, we find the land of the Jews, as it is written in Zephaniah 3 verse 10. From the boundaries of the rivers of Cush, Ethiopia, Congo, Kachopa, will I receive my dispersed ones. They shall offer sacrifices to me. And the Israelites were also called Bene Cushi. Campbell. Subscribe for more. Mbote, in Genesis 49, Yahuda is called the lawgiver. The word lawgiver in Hebrew is kakak. Kakak, the lawgiver, the leader, the elder in the book also is a reference to the ancestors. Now, this Hebrew word kakak is the Kikongo kaka, or variations Koko or Kuku, Kulu. So what we see is that the Hebrew kakak, in the Bantu we don't pronounce the K, the consonant at the end, so it gives us the Bantu kaka, which refers to a ancestor or an elder, a governor, a leader of the people. So Yahuda is the governor, the leader of the people, the dignitaries who are called Bankaka, yes, Bankulu. Ingeta once again prove that the Paleo-Hebrew is, in fact, the Bantu language, as the Kikongo and Swahili, and Zulu, Shona, all those so-called Bantu dialects, they come from one mother tongue, which we call the Proto-Bantu. The same language they spoke in Kemet, the same language the so-called Israelites spoke, because those Israelites are, in fact, the Bantu.
Lastly, here we go, Dinano.
Shona. All those so-called Bantu dialects, they come from one mother tongue, which we call the Proto-Bantu. The same language they spoke in Kemet, the same language the so-called Israelites spoke, because those Israelites are, in fact, the Bantu.
Ça va étonner beaucoup de personnes, pour ceux qui ne sont pas attentifs. Le nom de Judas, en hébreu, ça se dit Yehuda. Et un descendant de Judas, ça se dit Yehudi. Voilà, en araméen, on dit Yahuda. Yahuda. Et un descendant de la tribu de Judas, on dit Yahoudi. Bien Yahoudi. Ce qui nous rapproche du nom de la capitale du Cameroun, Yaoundé. Voilà. Il y a beaucoup de conneries qui ont été dites par rapport à l'origine du nom de Yaoundé, la capitale du Cameroun. Mais moi, j'avais dessus et c'est du pur mensonge. Parce qu'on ne veut pas.
Okay, this is the last slide, Dinano. In a minute, you can close up.
Food system, if your energy comes from the grid, if your wealth is exclusive, I won't comply. Sounds brave until you realize the system doesn't need your consent, it only needs your dependence. You see, you can disagree with the globalist agenda on principle all you want. You can disagree with digital IDs, CBDC, smart cities, social credit systems, but If your food comes from the mainstream food system, if your energy comes from the grid, if your wealth is exclusively inside their system, in practice, compliance becomes unavoidable. Not because you agree, but because you won't have any real choice but to comply. Let's use a simple example. I'll never accept a digital ID. The intention to refuse a digital ID is sincere, but if supermarkets require digital ID to buy food and you have no alternative option in place, the principle, I won't comply, becomes the practical reality, my children need to eat. This is what most people misunderstand. The globalists don't need you to agree with their agenda. They just need to make sure that you can't survive without their system. That's why the real resistance isn't protesting. It's not posting memes. It's not waking people up. The real resistance is building a life where saying no to the agenda is actually possible. That means access to land, water, energy, and food independently of the mainstream system. And this is exactly why we built the Wild Minds Network, to help you food system.
All right, so that's basically it in a nutshell. If we don't get out of their systems, then they will cause us to worship the beast system. And like the Bible says, no man shall buy or sell or pay a bill without being in the system of control that requires obedience and submission and compliance. So that's where the identity of who we are, our homeland, and what we need to do comes in, because we cannot continue to be enslaved to their jobs that they control and their grocery stores that they control and all these laws that they constantly keep putting out for us to obey. We didn't have these laws. We didn't have these grocery stores. We didn't have these banks. We didn't have these 9-to-5 slave systems. We didn't need to have money and debit cards and the ATM machines before the white man came to Africa. The white man came to Africa to set up these systems of control, which are going to be used in the last days to implement the beast system of control and compliance and obedience. So we have to get this word out to our people so that they can understand where our direction and focus needs to be, utilizing the land that God already promised to us, the land of Canaan, because we are the Israelites and we did possess the land of the Pygmies and the Khoisan when we left Egypt and came south into sub-Saharan Africa.
Thank you, Brother Ron. Thank you for that message. And we want to thank you, everyone, for engaging us today. Let's acknowledge all the super chats that came in towards the end of the program. Super chat of 19.99 from Sandra Ghana. Thank you, Sandra. We love you, Dinano. We're sending love back. Be blessed. May Yah continue to bless you, sister. Thank you to Miss Akim. Thank you, Brother Ron. Thank you, Brother Dinano, for that. She gave a $2 super chat. We appreciate that. Thank you, Miss Akim. Here's another super chat from Kimberly. Thank you for your kindness and generosity, Sister Kimberly. We truly appreciate you. Do you have a financial investment group? Ron, this is the second time the sister is asking this. Do you plan on setting up a tour like what Jay Cameron does? I'm a salon owner in California. I understand things don't happen at the snap of the finger again. I ask, what is the plan? Before you answer this one, Ron, let's just read through the rest of them. We also have another one from Endure. I've figured out what it means now. Endure until the end. A super chat of $1.99. Thank you again, Dinano and Ron. We also have a super chat of $10. All praises to Yah. Brother Ron, here's a question.
We have a financial investment group, and I do tours in Africa. Email me at Hebrews2Negroes@yahoo.com. We have a couple different WhatsApp chat groups that are designed for financial investment projects in Africa and funding for those that get it and they understand what's at stake and what we need to do. So email me at Hebrews2Negroes@yahoo.com. Hebrews2Negroes@yahoo.com.
Hold on. Ron, hold on. I'm writing it down. Hebrews
Negroes, Negroes @yahoo.com, because we have to move when others don't move. If others are asleep, they don't want to move, let them stay behind. Let them just see the danger and not do anything. But we are actively trying to do something with our groups. So yeah, so those that want to do something, they can email me. Those that don't want to do anything and just watch things unfold and suffer the consequences, then go right ahead.
Thank you, everyone. At the peak of this live stream, we had about 1,355 people watching. We also had a number of super chats, about 14 in total. We truly appreciate the support. We had a number of callers. We couldn't continue taking the calls because people on the live chat say, just let Brother Ron teach. And that's what we are here to do. We are
I got
here
more. You
to
want me to give you more? I
we
got
are
more.
here we are here to be taught. We are here to search the scriptures, but most importantly, we are here to obey the commands of our creator, the most high. Yeah. Let us go back to basics. Let us listen to the word of our creator. It is in his book, it is in his prophets, it is in his teachings. May you have a wonderful evening. I'll allow Brother Ron to have the last word.
You know, I had some slides that prove that the Greeks and Romans, they knew about the kingdom of the Congo way before the white man came in the 1800s. The Greeks and Romans, they learned of the expeditions of the Egyptians, and they saw their maps, and they learned about what they found when the Egyptians went up the Nile to the interiors of Africa. And the Greeks and Romans, they did have their own um, trading forts that were off the East African coastline near Tanzania. And from Tanzania, based on their maps, they traveled into the interiors towards Lake Tanganyika and Lake Victoria and Lake Kivu and Lake Edward and Lake Albert and Lake George, entering into the heart of the Congo-Uganda border. And this is a known fact from 2,000 year old maps that the Greeks and Romans have, and I have the slides to prove it, to show you that the white man, they already knew about the people living in Central Africa, the Bantu and the Pygmies. They already know about this stuff. That's how the Catholic Church knew how to use the Portuguese to send in the missionaries into the Congo before they sent in the troops. The Catholic Church, they already knew about all these people living in kingdoms in sub-Saharan Africa, the Bantu. And because of the knowledge that they obtained from the ancient Greeks and Romans and Egyptians, they said it's time to go up in there and Christianize them and erase their history and their heritage and trick them and to take their land and enslave them. Let's start the prophecies of Deuteronomy 28:68. It was all according to Yah's will and timing, and they were the instruments of what God had to use for the transatlantic slave trade and the Arab slave trades and the colonization of Africa to happen, as according to history. But now we're in a part of history now that the old Roman Empire is gone, the Greek Roman Empire is gone. We see the rising of the new Rome, the new divided empire, which is Europe and America, wreaking havoc on the whole world. And yes, now it's time for us to wake up. We are moving to a time period now where knowledge is necessary and instruction is necessary for the people of Yah.
Ron, I didn't even ask a question whether we should bring you back or not, but the love is already there. Lion of Judah says, yeah. I don't know what they're saying yeah to because there was not a question asked. Bring Brother Dr. Ron Dalton back to teach. The doctor's always the smartest one in the room. Are you a doctor, Ron? No, but it's an
No,
honor.
doctor,
It's an honor.
but
It's an honor. It's an honor. I'm just being chicken. It's an honor. People truly do appreciate you. And you know, we also do appreciate you here on Something Nice with Dinano. So, Ron, let's make another date for the last Sabbath of April. You bring us something fresh, you bring us something new, you educate the people of God because they are thirsty for these teachings.
All right, let's go.
Hopefully you'll be here and we will make it 4 hours.
I got enough slides to do 4 hours easy.
Because I know Brother Ron has a gas pedal, but he doesn't have any brakes, so he can go on and on and on. And we appreciate the knowledge because we know, Ron, it comes from a place of research and interesting findings that you have managed to gather in the number of years that you've been putting in the work. So we truly appreciate you, brother. We love you. You are a friend of the show. You are my friend. But
And for
sometimes I can be hard on you, but today I wasn't. Go on, Ron.
For all of those that are in America or Africa, and you want me to keep going on and show the slides, all of this is on H2N TV, like the ordinal says. Everything you can just sit back, look at it, pause it, go back, rewind. All of these teachings, including the ones I just mentioned about the Greeks and the Romans, knowing about the Kingdom of the Congo 2,000 years ago, it's all there. It's all on H2NTV.com. H2NTV.com. All the information and research is there, just like the stuff that I presented today. So it's all there. Thousands upon thousands of hours of information.
By the way, Brother Ron, another thing, we have also added Brother Ron's donation platforms. So in the description of this video, you will find the code, or is it a code or a link? It should be a code, right, Ron? Or the handle to your Cash App and your PayPal. We've got both of them on the description of this video. So do the right thing, give a like, share this video to someone who you know will find value. We appreciate all our channel members. The goal is to hit 100 channel members by the end of this month. We'll be starting a mailing list soon because Ron has given us some wisdom. He says, if you do not have access to your audience outside of these platforms, it's just a waste of time because we know we don't own anything. We just rent space here and anything is possible, as Ron had alluded to in the beginning of this presentation. Thank you for your time, Brother Ron. Please send our gratitude to your family. Family, we appreciate all of you for being here and those who are being mischievous too. I don't know how many accounts Brother Tyrone has. I was banning his accounts left, right, and center. Thank you, family. Next time, if you come in for a call, stick to the topic, please. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. May Yah bless you. We are out. Remember, end of April, we come back, you invite your friends, you invite your family members. We gather again for another lesson from Brother Ron Dalton Jr. Have a good one. Here it's evening. I know in other parts of the world it's afternoon, morning, midday, whatever it is. Enjoy it. Shabbat Shalom.